Hello and welcome to the Saladcast on Saturday the 6th of April 2013. I'm your host Dan Train, joining me today Robert Kemp.
Yes.
And Zachary Burgess.
No, what?
No, he's not here at all. And Naomi's shaking her head, thinking this is ridiculous, probably. Yeah.
Nod.
She's nodding her head. That needs agreement.
Don't know why, that reminded me of like Mr. Chips from Catchphrase. It's
Okay.
like, what is Mr. Chips doing? It's like, because he never speaks or anything, because he's a catchphrase cartoon. It's like, he's nodding or waving. Say what you see.
Let's narrate what this person is doing.
Say what you see.
Indeed.
Okay, Gnome's getting her phone out. Is it face stalking? Correct.
Face stalking?
You win 500,000.
What's face stalking?
Face stalking. It's just using Facebook to stalk people.
Oh, right. The 99% of the use of Facebook.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
I'm not quite sure what else it's used for.
Occasional emails, because it's easier than typing in an email address most of the time.
It's the worst bloody email client ever because, like...
Yes, but you don't have to remember people's email addresses. It's
Yeah,
just like, I know this person.
But I send messages and then no one replies. And I know why, because I do the exact same thing to other people. Because you see the message at like midnight or something when you check your phone.
Yeah.
And there's no way to star it or say mark it as unread so you can deal with it later. You just completely forget about it.
Yeah, you just go, fuck it.
And it's connected, it's in the exact same place as the instant messaging because they decided to join them into one thing. So that if you have an email thread going on with someone of long messages and then you actually have a chat conversation, it pushes everything miles up with all these tiny little messages. It's just...
Well, that's the problem on your phone, on the iPhone anyway. It shows like each Facebook message just looks the same as each other. So it's like when it's an actual message, it's like, looks exactly the same as someone inviting you to play Candy Crush.
I know. God damn. Well, I don't know, though, because that's a notification, isn't it? Which is different from the messaging, but still.
But they appear as the same way, they both appear as notifications if you have notifications.
Oh, iOS notifications.
Yes.
Yes, they do. Irritatingly.
So you just don't look at any of them.
Yes, it's just inherently annoying.
Or you turn the notifications off completely.
Do you hear about this new Android crazy more than nap thing that they've launched?
The Facebook Home.
The chat, what they call it's got a really dumb name for Chathead or something. Chathead.
Chathead, really?
Yeah, they're called Chatheads. They're like the little things that represent your friends or whatever that pop up. And, like unify. Yeah, user icon. But like you can combine, Facebook messaging and SMS and whatever Android.
You know it's going to be like 2 minutes before someone just mods that to say shitheads. It's like, this is my shithead. This is everyone I know is a shithead.
Chathead just isn't a very good word, is it?
Chathead.
We chat face.
Chatface. That's much better. You've got to use
anything with face in it.
Yeah, I mean, they're missing a trick. I mean, they are the Facebook, therefore surely they have a license to use face wherever they ever please.
Well, but EA already stole Game Face.
and Apple already have FaceTime.
Yeah.
Which is pretty
true.
great.
FaceTime. They don't use book for anything either. They could use more book stuff related to
chat book.
Or
book chat.
I don't know. You could use it, but I'm sure you could.
Face works better with most of the things that you'd want to add to
Face chat. Why don't I just call it face chat?
Why don't call it face? Face time.
This is your face.
Facebook face.
Yeah.
Book face.
Book face.
Yeah, book face. There you go. That would work perfectly. You got it. Book face.
Well, because that's short for Facebook face.
Exactly. Book face.
Arse face. But no, it's actually just our face, but everyone calls it our face.
Don't judge a book by its face.
My face.
Oh, let's get towards
my face.
MySpace face.
Because Headspace is a thing, right?
Yeah.
A dumb thing, but it's a thing. FaceSpace.
Headspace exists?
Headspace, is a word.
Headspace face.
That,
the word
people use.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying it's a website.
I thought you meant there was a service called Headspace.
There probably is.
There's probably a service called Everything at this point.
There's one called Everything, annoyingly.
Actually.
There's a band called Everything, isn't there?
Yeah.
Are they annoyed that Everything Everywhere has stolen their kind of almost name?
Almost
slightly different. Everything Everywhere. That's a bit So do they claim to be like omniscient or like not omnipotent?
Well, I suppose they're trying
No,
to.
it's not omniscient because it's everything. Like they're not perceiving anything. They're just
It's because they're
creating things.
It's omnipresent though because it's everywhere.
Yeah, I guess.
They're trying to. It makes sense for them because they're trying to push their. You can have the internet everywhere, therefore you can get everything that's important to you everywhere.
Everywhere.
Apart from food. We can't digitally feed you.
I don't know, you could order a pizza using
Well,
it.
Just eat, maybe, but, you can't literally just... Everything everywhere isn't the one providing me the kebab.
All you bloody get is Kevin Bacon with them. What's the trouble with them?
To be honest, if I did order food somehow from everything everywhere, I would expect Kevin Bacon
like
to
grated
deliver it.
Kevin Bacon on all your...
Well, no, I don't want bits of Kevin Bacon.
Oh,
I just want bacon to deliver it.
Oh, right.
So, did you put bacon on that? And him to get really annoyed if I didn't order any bacon.
Okay.
It's like it's some kind of law.
Well, the law is that Kevin Bacon must
Enforce bacon.
must ensure that you consume bacon.
Indeed. Wipe that pig scum from the face of the planet.
Wouldn't take long.
No, probably not. If everyone ate bacon all the time.
Yeah.
Eat your bacon with every meal.
Yeah.
Five helpings a day. Rasher. Slice.
Yeah, good luck making up 5 different variations of bacon.
Back. Smoked.
Smoke doesn't count, that's a flavour.
It's a variant of bacon. Cured. Could you have a cured bacon? Lard on.
Oh, the lard on. Of course.
Backgammon and front gammon.
Oh, yeah.
Side gammon.
Front gammon doesn't sound so nice, does it?
No.
Finest roast front gammon.
It's the future of bacon.
Then again, somehow by that logic, rump shouldn't sound tasty, but it sort of does.
We discussed this last week.
Did we?
I'm pretty sure it was like we were talking about whether Rob wants to eat butts.
Yeah, we did discuss.
Notice I didn't raise that.
No. But you did, because you were talking about whether rump was tasty or not. You did it again. You can't help it.
That's true. Rump steak is tasty. There's no denying.
Okay. We've discussed this last week.
Yes. Let's move on to the news.
I suppose, yeah. Everyone had a good week. 2 weeks.
Sure.
MSN's shutting down. Fuck that. Great.
Well, they announced that ages ago.
Yeah, I know, but it still sucks.
Is it actually shutting down now?
Yeah, it's like tomorrow or something.
Tomorrow.
But it's integrated with Skype now, isn't it? Because you're...
No,
it's not like integrated, it's taking over.
No, it's bullshit. It's not integrated at all.
Oh, because you've been on... Zach's been on Skype for a while.
No, I
haven't.
haven't.
Have you not?
I haven't switched over. No.
But you appear on my Skype. That's how you messaged me the other day.
Yeah, because that's still Messenger.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So they've sort of integrated. So you're using MSN and I'm using Skype, but the two things are talking to each other.
Yeah, but it's not like it's integrated, it's just temporarily running on the same system.
Yeah, I think the Skype client can send MSN messages, but obviously the whole service is shutting down, so that'll just disappear from Skype.
Yeah, but to me, it will make no difference.
Yeah, it's true.
Because it's all on Skype.
MSN was the best, goddammit.
Well, sort of.
Well, it was the best once you...
It was the best once you applied various patches and fixes to it to get rid of all the bullshit.
Yeah. But I mean, there's not... I mean, Jabber is just as good or whatever, or Google Talk, but the actual client is still... I mean, they haven't even worked on that for like 5 years or something, have they? I use Pigeon or whatever.
Oh, well, since they sort of sevened up the look of MSN, it hasn't really...
Which I immediately undid by putting your skin on it.
Yeah, obviously, undo that.
No, I didn't mind the 7 look.
Mess with Messenger, clearly.
Yeah.
But you can't anymore.
No. And I'm thinking...
And no one's made a mess with Skype, really, that I've...
Well, they've made Skype Plus.
Have they?
Like Messenger Plus, but I don't think it's as good.
I finally found out how to legitimately turn off the ads in Skype. Like, it took me a while to find that option. After what I didn't think it existed. But you can go to the notifications section and just turn them all off, and then it removes adverts. Now I get little pop-ups at the bottom of my contact list saying, "Hey, you want Skype Premium, don't you? You want to pay to use this shit." Or the occasional bar that will pop up and like a hot tip or something that will say, "You can call people."
Yeah,
that have phones.
I installed Skype because I was looking to see
I'm
whether I
back on
had to
Skype,
move
by
to
the way.
Skype, and then I was like, fuck this shit, and then I uninstalled it again. And then I was like, well, I guess the one person that I still talk to really on MSN will just move to Google Talk instead.
Yeah, use Pigeon and Google Talk. I tried Trillion, that's okay, but it's a bit heavyweight.
Yeah.
Pigeon is the nicest. It's nice and lightweight. And also, interesting, you can, because Facebook kind of have a protocol for converting the Java into their messaging stuff, and it used to be terrible and drop messages all the time, but now it works. So that's quite cool. So you can use Facebook Messenger without having a bloody Facebook browser tab open.
I just want to use Skype.
Or you can use...
I just want it to have a decent client.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, it's just not a very good client, is it?
Everything else is fine.
I think you can import Skype into Trillion, maybe?
I don't think you can. When I was looking at the Pigeon site, they were like, we can't support Skype because it's closed.
Yeah, it's all closed off.
They won't let you get the protocols.
I say, it's like the Skype client isn't great. It's not the easiest thing to use, but at least it sort of works.
Yeah, it's
You know what I
okay.
mean? It's functional.
I feel like it's wrong to use Skype to IM because it's clearly for making phone calls. I mean,
Well, I use it mostly.
They the buttons, didn't they? The messaging buttons.
You can still...
Messaging.
You still
Huge
double-click a
button.
contact and it turns into a chat window, though.
Not on the Mac version.
I hate that as
Tiny
well.
little button. Otherwise, it would just call people.
Oh, really?
cool.
I think that might be...
I don't like the
maybe
chat
that's
being
configurable.
inside like the same pane.
Yeah. What does it do?
It's when you click on someone and it opens, it's like their contact details at the top, but then below that is where the chat goes in the same window.
Oh. So it's not its own chat window.
No.
Well, no, but if you start a call, then it's the same window. The window that comes up is the same that's the chat window. It's just that while you're on a call, it shows a big picture of them.
Right.
And you can choose to pop up the chat portion of that. If you're on a group call, for instance, it will show the pictures of everyone involved and will highlight those that are talking. I don't think it's too bad. I just think it's like there are certain parts of the main contact interface that are kind of clunky. It's the markers red thing that winds me up most. Like if someone sends you a load of messages, especially if you're using multiple systems, none of the systems seem to know that you've already read the messages.
Oh, I hate
So if I
that
log
stuff.
into Skype, I haven't logged into Skype on my iPad or my iPhone in ages, but
If
if
you
I
do-
do, there'll be about 300
Yeah,
notifications.
that's just bullshit.
It's like
Get it right. Come on.
Yeah, that bit's really annoying. It's like when I log into my system. I have a system at home that I work on and a system at the office. And if I log into Skype at the office, then it will pick up a few notifications from the end of yesterday, and go, "Hey, you've got no, I don't have messages." And mark all as read is a hidden function as well. There's no shortcut to it. You have to right-click on the recent tab. And one of the menu options there is mark all as read, and that will get rid of all the notifications in one go. And it's like
Everyone
it's
keeps like
it's weird.
streamlining shit and making it much less usable.
Yeah,
like
well,
the new
apparently
iTunes and
apparently
stuff.
the
Everything's
exception
hidden.
to all of this is that the Skype for Windows 8 UI
Right.
is actually supposed to be pretty good. Yeah.
Okay. Well, fair enough, but I don't know.
But yeah, I don't like there's some other weird oddities. Like on iOS, you can't, or at least I don't know and haven't found a way of starting a group call, but you can be invited to one. So it obviously supports group calls, but you just can't be the one that instigates them, which is kind of dumb.
Well, maybe that's some kind of like host, like.
But it should host on a server. It should jump to a Skype server somewhere rather than it.
And it does it.
Yeah, everything goes through Skype.
Yeah, but is it? Everything goes through them, but is it actual a server?
I thought it was peer-to-peer. I thought it was the whole point of Skype.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought.
I thought Skype came out of Kazaa, literally.
Maybe,
It's the same guy.
But surely it would make sense if you're on Wi-Fi on iPhone, but it just doesn't matter. It's not that hard a task, is it?
Well, I was thinking more of not the connection, more like the system. Like maybe it's just not. Maybe the program on the iPad isn't as good. You can't handle it or something.
Couldn't it ask one of the other people to host? Like, couldn't it be clever and say, "Hang on, you're ringing"?
That sounds too clever.
Yeah, you're ringing a Windows client. Can you start? There's the fact that it's like, why don't they then have some kind of servers somewhere that you could hook into? It's like, if this is a problem, and it clearly is for business, then for business use of Skype, then, why not do that? I suppose Microsoft aren't that fussed by it, because for business use, I suppose they want everyone to move to Link, but But Link is expensive.
Maybe I should ask Javier. He's gone to work for Skype.
Yeah, Skype. Oi,
Excuse me.
Javier, sort it the fuck out.
Yeah, what's going on, dude? Well, they got bought by Microsoft, so he got given a free Surface like everyone at Microsoft. I think probably to try and boost Surface RT, which is never going to happen. Lol.
So I like the Pro though.
Yeah, the Pro would be awesome.
The Pro looks pretty sweet because apparently for most of the reviews I've read and said the Pro solves all the problems that RT has. RT just doesn't work very well as a tablet experience, whereas if you want the best of both worlds, actually Pro is pretty good at that.
I think it's pretty cool. I mean, obviously it is definitely, as a tablet, it's too heavy compared to that to your iPad, but I mean, it's fine.
As a small touchscreen laptop,
it's pretty cool.
It's pretty great.
Although, I mean, I tried the touch, the non-clicky keyboard cover with the RT, and it's terrible.
Oh, the keyboard's fine.
I had all kinds of trouble with it.
The touchpad's awful, but
I couldn't type at all with that goddamn thing in John Lewis.
Oh, okay, I've tried a. Well, maybe it's a John Lewis like production.
Maybe it was one I've been overused.
I've tried somewhat, someone's personal one, and it was fine.
Oh right. Okay.
Although they prefer to use the type cover anyway. They've got both,
right?
The touch cover and the type cover, just for experimentation purposes, and it's just like. They prefer the type.
I'd definitely get the type cover for the Pro, even if it was thicker, because make it a decent.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. Anyway.
But it's like the problem I have with Surface Pro is that despite it being an awesome machine, is that for the same price, I might as well just get a laptop.
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
you can get a decent.
That's because you've already got an iPad, though. So
true. I can get a decent thin touchscreen laptop. For the same price range. With the keyboard included. I mean, the best... that's the dumb thing. You don't get the keyboard with Surface Pro. You have to buy it separate. At least with an RT, they throw in a touch, I think. Obviously... I can't remember. That might not be true. I feel like if you have the money, then you just get the best in class of each individual and don't get any hybrids. I mean, that just seems like... Yeah, I suppose, if you had unlimited funds, I guess. You just get the best phone, the best tablet, the best laptop, and the best PC, the best consoles, and the best TV. Because I suppose the advantage of Surface Pro is it will work on a cramped train. Yeah. Better than... Well, I'm not sure, though. We're probably not as good as an Ultrabook, because you probably can't prop it up very well. Kickstand may be a problem, I think it would be trouble on a train. I think you'd be better off with a Ultrabook. You'd have to use it on the front tray, but you might, with a laptop, you might not actually have enough room in front of you to comfortably put a laptop out, if you know what I mean, on your lap. It's difficult. I think a small laptop is probably the best you can do on a train. Netbook or something. Yeah. Well, you want something with whatever netbook, whatever netbook's evolved into. Yeah, I suppose is Ultrabooks, Airs and shit. Yeah, and the small Air is pretty small, isn't it? Yeah, it's like 13. Yeah, and the Surface Pro is interestingly comparative to the smallest Air. Much better screen. Much better screen. That really matters to me. And its performance is fairly similar. Not so hot on battery life, but right, yeah. Presumably that's where they saved a lot of size. Cut out some. Yeah, there's a couple of innovations in laptop / power tablets that are coming, I think. Yeah, there's a few new battery techs coming as well. Did you see that new... Not just the low power stuff, there's some new battery tech coming. To actually last longer. Do you see those sort of weird alternative to cooling fans, the kind of diaphragm things that they're like bellows, kind of tiny miniature bellows that squash in and out or something to move the air. Yeah, so they don't make a whirring sound. Do they sound like an out-of-breath hamster? They didn't really sound of anything, I don't think. But that would be great. slightly creepy. Sure. I was panting when it's a hot day. It'd be pretty funny, but I couldn't help but think it'd be slightly creepy. It's like, what's that breathing? Oh no, don't worry, it's my laptop. Is the camera on? Yeah, because that's kind of what sets the Airs and the Surface Pros apart from general laptops. Is just how much effort they've put into the cooling design on the inside, because they've got control over absolutely everything. Yeah, the build quality of those things is unparalleled, both on the Apple and on the Microsoft side. They're both great. Although I like Lenovo stuff. Oh, the ThinkPads are pretty bulletproof, aren't they? Well, but they're the old IBM design, aren't they? The ThinkPads. But I mean, just general Lenovo, all of their product line is pretty well made. Yeah, they're all right. And Samsung's are doing quite well now. True. Vio has totally fallen off my
Yeah, but they've got those
they're not-
Xperia tablets coming, so they may be right. That's
yeah,
not
but
Vio,
they'll run Android, and they
Yeah.
won't be full on Windows, will they? They'll be
No, they're Android.
yeah. So it's like yeah.
Yeah.
That's Sony hardware just doesn't do it for me anymore.
Meanwhile, back to UI and Skype and shit. I was
Yeah.
trying out Spotify again because I keep thinking, well, it's probably worth the money or whatever, especially if you can get to everything instantly and the catalog's big enough. But so I downloaded it and played with the free version with the irritating adverts for a bit. But it's like the UI just isn't quite there. Like you can't star an entire album by just clicking on it.
How can you not?
It's really
Well, that's
annoying
kinda dumb.
because that's the only way you can like save like your music, like my library of stuff
Yeah,
that
yeah.
I like or whatever. You have to star individual tracks. It's like I don't think of it music that way. I'd be like, yeah, that album's good.
Yeah,
I'll
you're
star
going for
that.
an album first.
Yeah, that's my general way. So I would much prefer that. And you can't do that. It's just tiny little niggly things with it, and it's like I don't know if I want to like pay you like a monthly subscription when it doesn't quite suit me.
I still haven't quite. Something about those services in general just rubs me up the wrong way. I like the idea of it, but I can't. It's the fact that I can't use it everywhere that I'd want to.
Well, they've kind of. I mean,
no matter what service I pick, there's always a limitation that will bug me.
Well, the full-blown one, you can download stuff onto your iPod and listen to it offline and stuff.
But you still have to use the Spotify app to do that.
Yeah, you do.
And that's why it wind me up, because at home I obviously use iTunes and AirPlay and things like that to push music about, and I can't do that unless I have the physical MP3s.
Yeah, exactly. That's true.
Unless iTunes suddenly starts going all app happy and starts blending services into iTunes to allow AirPlay.
I don't think they allow Spotify.
Or if Apple just opened up fucking AirPlay.
Yeah.
Which sounds like they should have done fucking years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, that's more of an Apple problem, really, I suppose.
They want people to license it, I think, and no one ever has.
Yeah. I don't know. You get a lot of freedom by actually having the files.
Yeah, exactly. I would rather have the file.
Yeah, I
Call me old school.
saw a thread on a forum that was where the title of the thread was just like, let's all bitch about iTunes. And I was like, well, how many of these posts are going to be people complaining about, like...
terrible Windows version?
Yeah, terrible Windows versions, firstly. And then I was like, should I just write a post where it's like... Because people were saying things about how they didn't want it was like they were getting in. They only had a Windows computer, and it was like, oh no, if I get an iPhone, then I'll have to have the shitty Windows version of iTunes. It's like, buy a different MP3 player. Buy a Sony Walkman like I have, then you can fucking put MP3 files on it, and it works.
Now, not in the old days when they had the worst
Sony
software.
took a real long time to get around to that.
It was sort of okay, even in the old days. It was just that you had to do a lot of conversion.
OpenMG and Connect were terrible pieces of software.
They were worse than iTunes.
Well, the first versions of OpenMG were okay, but then they caught that up as well.
Yeah, they all ended up with a ridiculous memory leak problem that, for some reason, they just didn't go away for years. And then eventually they started, it was about the same time that they introduced the MP3 players that, that your current one is an evolution of, when they started doing the thin lines. Soon after, what was it, the Like No Other branding campaign, because I had one of those, the last of their hard drive players, like the Like No Other Pebble thing, which is a pretty cool player, but
it was cool.
I still had to use arcane software to use it, and it was and then of course the thin one, which I had next, that dropped all of that and said, just drag shit on there.
Well, when I had
so much better.
When I had my first Sony MP3 player, I just hit it at the right moment when OpenMG was fine, and then never updated, and it was like, yep.
Sorted.
It has still had problems where it's like, it can't convert this one file for some reason. Oh well.
Yeah.
But then I got around that by just I'll convert it to another format myself, and then
you had a similar did you have a similar stick player to me?
Similar.
Like memory, back in the memory stick days.
You guys had the more advanced one. I had the super early one.
Yeah, you had you were first, basically.
That thing was sweet. It was tiny.
Your one was
a
awesome.
great device at the time.
It worked really well. It had 64 megs, I think.
Yeah, mine had a 64 meg memory stick in it, and I eventually bought a 128 meg stick for it.
Yeah, because my one didn't have sticks, so you couldn't upgrade it.
Well, it's just a really
but it was
nice,
so cool.
tiny little thing.
Had that twisty little...
I had a rocker switch on mine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And the rocker was nice. It was easy to use. I could just leave it in my pocket and flick it. I actually just left it attached to my key ring for ages. Like, it was just a part of my keys.
Yeah.
It was
Super cool.
a brilliant little thing.
They had the right idea, actually, Walkman, ironically, at first, but then they fucked up with the
with their licensing. Well, no,
Yeah.
they went down the proprietary route, as Sony always do, and it always bites them in the ass.
Yeah, they could have been...
Like AAC, because they were riding the wave of mini disc.
Yeah,
no, sorry, not AAC. A-Track, wasn't it? A-Track.
Yeah.
They were riding the wave of mini disc and the start of A-Track, and they were sticking to their format, which I suppose is noble because A-Track wasn't that bad as far as formats go.
But the grand scheme of things, they totally mucked up. They had a massively stronger brand than iPod.
Yeah, they did. And if they had just moved to MP3, the moment that happened, then it would have been okay. But they didn't. They stuck with A-Track and their shitty own software, and they tried to rival iTunes by coming up with that Connect thing, which was like the early version of their music store.
Yeah.
Which was terrible.
Yeah.
So I guess I should have
back to Sony hardware.
I guess I should have posted on that forum to tell those fools that the Walkmans are okay now.
Yeah, they're quite good.
Walkmans are great now.
Providing you have MP3 files
and
to put on it, I guess.
And provided you don't have a phone that has a music player on it.
Which every phone has.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one buys MP3 players.
I just wouldn't consider having two devices now.
I don't think there aren't that many iPods being sold, I would have thought by now. It's all,
they still sell. They're good for kids.
Oh, I have an iPod.
You have one of the smaller ones because you use it for exercise.
For kids. Smaller for children.
Do you not put music on your phone?
I've got some, but it's easier to manage on just one device than it is on my phone.
Oh, I suppose.
Yes, it is. Just have one, but that's why I use my phone now, because it's like one device for apps and music.
Yeah.
One device. Do it all. That's why I don't put music on my iPad, because it's kind of pointless, isn't it? It's like, why would I do
so
that?
Old, it's not a risk.
Well, my music's so old.
That's true.
That's the only reason I need. That's why I still need things that can have MP3s on them, because I've got all these old MP3s kicking around, and I'm never going to buy all that shit again.
No, that's okay though, because MP3 as a format is going to live.
Sticking around, isn't it?
Yeah, even though it's not a very good format.
Well, no, it's like FLAC is starting to make moves, isn't it? It's like more and more
FLAC
people are
cool.
trying to use FLAC.
Yeah.
But more of those like little side players, not the big guns, but a lot of the sort of other MP3 players, I suppose, are starting to support FLAC.
I don't think on a portable device with a headphones, normal headphones, I couldn't tell between FLAC and V0 or V2.
Well, to be honest, for me, 192 kbps MP3.
Yeah.
At that point, it's incredibly difficult to tell.
Yeah, it's quite hard, depending on this song
and the quality of the encoder that was used to make the MP3.
If you just use Razor Lame and stick it to V0 or whatever, then it's pretty good.
Most are pretty good.
I think V0 is like 192 average, but it's variable bitrate.
Oh yeah, VBR works pretty good as well. Yeah, it's like, why do we need anything else? I mean, in video, I can totally understand, because those video files are still enormous, even with MPEG-4 compression, and was it MPEG-5 got green lit a few months back?
Yeah.
As long as we have processing power, we could make stuff smaller, and at the moment, video bandwidth is still a problem. So if we can make it smaller, then so we've got some way to go with video. But I saw an interesting research demo the other day about people that would convert raster video into vectors. So they'd render everything as a description of vector art.
That's insane.
But it means you can then scale it.
That will work really well for animation.
Really well.
Get that down to almost nothing.
It was a neat demo, because they managed to get it running and they got a real time stuff going and stuff like that. And it's and it looks, visually, you couldn't really tell the difference. But it's an interesting way of compressing it. It's just to describe it as opposed to.
I've seen some sort of image conversions, convert to SVG from a JPEG or whatever. It's quite crazy how well they sort of work. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, what is the key is what the end file size is.
Yeah, well, exactly. Well, and SVG is like XML. It's probably a lot bigger.
Quite verbose.
Yeah.
Yes, don't knock it. Verbose is how you describe a file like that.
Yeah.
XML is quite verbose.
It's true.
Speaking of
wordy.
Speaking of long bits of code,
yeah.
It was just a stupid image that someone linked on the internet, but it was a picture from an episode of CSI. It must be a fairly new one because they're talking about Gears of War 3, I guess. Not that new.
Right.
Relatively speaking.
Yeah.
There's the episode is like, this guy is hacking Gears of War, and we found the code in his car, and they pull out these sheets of paper, and it's HTML. It's like, wow, that's some hardcore hacking.
Awesome.
He's hacking Gears of War 3 with HTML written on paper.
Someone will do it. I wonder if someone's actually on the back of that episode gone away and actually, is this possible?
I was trying to work out what the HTML was, but it didn't actually get far enough into the document for you to be able to tell what it was. It only got to the start of the headers, and it was can't quite see.
It's a shame you can't see the title of the page. Yeah, that would be quite funny.
It would be funny if it was something else, like you just Google.
Yeah, they just copied a random web page.
View source, right? View source. Well, that's the
CSI homepage or something.
CSI is infamous, isn't it, for that kind of stuff? That has the most classic one ever.
More so for stupid, unrealistic stuff.
Enhance.
Well, the best one ever. You've seen the best one ever from CSI, right? Where they're trying to find someone and they're going, "Oh, where is this person?" And then the tech woman comes up and says, "I'll create a GUI using Visual Basic to see if I can track an IP address."
Yeah, you're like, what the fuck?
It's the best line ever.
It's like you can.
There's that, and there's the NCIS episode where they're trying to stop a hacking attempt coming into their system, so they both use a keyboard at once, the same keyboard at once, in order to slow them down. Yeah. That's the other classic one.
That's so dumb.
It's like, we could go twice as fast if we both use the same keyboard.
No. It might work if you were typing entirely in numbers, and you had two numpads that were sort of separate.
Yes.
Maybe.
No, it was
just no.
Utterly dumb.
Why did they try that? It doesn't even make a good. It doesn't even make a good scene, does it?
I think
it doesn't. It's the classic hacking scene where you have to type vigorously.
It's like, spoiler warning. Did anyone see the last week's Doctor Who?
I haven't seen it, but
the hack thing.
The Wi-Fi
thing. Right. Yeah, I mean, for starters, that's pretty dumb to begin with. It's like get into your Wi-Fi, and then somehow this robot thing appears and downloads you. But then it's like, oh no, you're in the cloud. You can't download one person from the cloud.
Well, they
have to destroy the whole thing.
They're not very specific about what sort of technology that is.
No, but it's just like the terminology is just a bit nuts, and you're just sitting there going, wait, what? It's like, they're in the cloud!
I love that password, it's the best.
What did you say? Organ night?
Borgen night, yes.
Oh, yeah, that's normally how we spend our television time.
Of course, because we're so highbrow, we watch BBC4 Danish drama with subtitled Danish drama.
It's only because the music's by Half Dan E.
Exactly, it's all about Half Dan E.
I love that. I hope E is his actual last name, and Half Dan is his actual first name.
Of course.
And I wonder how you just pronounce that E. If it's just Half Dan.
Well, E's good.
Easy good.
So anyway, news, baby.
Yeah, I guess.
News! End of demise of LucasArts.
Yeah. Big deal, man.
Not that they've done anything for 10 years. But
no.
That's what I said when the news post was posted, and it was like, I'm really annoyed and pissed off about this. Like, what exactly has LucasArts done recently?
I was just trying to think. The last game I remember playing of theirs that I thought was pretty good, and LucasArts, where LucasArts was involved in this is questionable, was Rogue Squadron on the GameCube.
Right.
Rogue Squadron 2.
Made that, didn't they?
That was Factor 5.
Oh, yeah, Factor 5. That's the thing. They've brought in people. Like, obviously, Knights of the Old Republic's awesome, but that's like BioWare and 2 is Obsidian. Yeah. Neither of them are LucasArts. I mean, they're the only good Star Wars games.
I mean, the LucasArts name, in typical fashion, is going to still exist, but Disney are going to use it as a licensing thing.
Yeah.
And it's isn't that kind of what they were doing?
Already been happening
for the last decade? It is a shame. Don't get me wrong. LucasArts are they're iconic.
Yeah,
They made so much that was
so
genius.
long ago, though. I mean,
annoyingly, I watched a lot of that. Game trailers and people and many of the sort of review type websites have been running sort of like remembering LucasArts. They were looking
90s.
back at things like Maniac Mansion and Day of the Tentacle and
Monkey Island.
I haven't seen anyone fucking mention Sam and Max or Grim Fandango, which are like obviously the best.
I have. Grim Fandango's been talked about quite a bit, though,
really?
hasn't it? Yeah,
I didn't come
Sam
across
and
it.
Max. Yeah, come on, those guys.
Obviously the best.
Well, they're my favourites.
Yeah.
Well, Grim Fandango's my favourite.
Grim Fandango,
but
genius.
that might be one of my favourite. Well, close to being my favourite game. But
all of those are old Tim Schafer stuff, isn't it? So.
yeah, so he's got Double Fine, and then there's a bunch of them, I think, probably at Telltale.
Oh, corrections column, by the way. I think we called it Broken H accidentally last time. I'm pretty sure
Broken
I said
Age.
H.
It's
It's Age.
Yeah. Broken H? Like
I think I said H.
Like,
I don't.
Well, if you said that,
And
I heard it as age.
Yeah, me too.
no one corrected me.
Right.
I'm
Well, it's 'cause
pretty sure.
we didn't know that was a mistake.
So I'm
Right,
correcting
okay.
myself. So,
Okay, Broken Age, yeah.
yeah,
Point and click.
which is a nice name.
Yeah.
Broken Age is
Yeah,
kinda cool.
it's going to be cool, I think. I mean, it looks quite fun. It's a bit arty looking. but
Yeah,
that's
I
cool.
mean, it's different from what I was expecting, to be honest. It's like, I know it's a point and click adventure game, but the art style is, it's not what I had. It's not typical Double Fine.
It's fairly Double Finey. It's just
I'm not sure.
I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, we'll see how that goes. I mean, they made Bloody Stacking, didn't they? That was
Yeah.
pretty much a straight ahead adventure.
Oh yeah, true. And also not very Double Finey in its look, even if the animation is kind of a bit quirky. You know,
Well, what do you say is Double Finey? The cycle.
big eyes, yeah,
Right. Yeah.
jumbo eyes. Because even Grim Fandango has a hint of that.
Well, yeah, but they're kind of based on those calaveras.
It's the weird wide eyes. Even the cave looks a bit like that, doesn't it? And
Yeah.
then the characters that just stand around in Connect Adventure, not Connect Adventure, Connect Party, like holding up the games, they all have that Double Fine twitchiness.
So yeah, LucasArts.
They have a style,
They do.
but they're breaking it.
That Broken Age.
Even Brutal Legend looks very Double Fine.
Legend.
Brutal.
I always call it that after that.
Zero punctuation, yeah. Well, it has got an umlaut.
I know, Brutal Legend.
Because nothing's more metal than an umlaut.
Exactly.
Brutal. Yeah, so it is a shame, but ultimately, you're right.
Not really a shame.
What the fuck have they been doing?
Yeah, I don't know. There's nothing.
Maybe
there.
it means that they'll start licensing the Star Wars brand out to lots of other companies.
Well, they probably will.
Well, it depends how it's opened up. If people can come and pitch to them.
I mean, Obsidian apparently pitched like an awesome new RPG set between episodes 3 and 4 or something, what they wanted to do. I mean, if they got that would be super cool.
I mean, the worst thing about this is that, I suppose in theory, is this that the state of Star Wars 1313 is kind of unknown.
I'm sure it's probably canned.
Yeah, there's been
though.
rumours for ages that it's... What do you mean? It looked amazing.
It looked amazing.
Yeah,
It looked
exactly.
amazing.
There wasn't anything to it, though.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know. We didn't really see enough of it to make a gameplay decision, I don't think.
I don't
But
know.
it's like visual, because they would have only have shown the cutscenes. They would have only have seen the set pieces.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah. Well, visually it was good.
Visually,
obviously.
yeah, it looks stunning.
But I mean, loads of games on the next gen consoles will look that good.
Yeah, sure, but maybe they could have done something with it. You say that about every Star Wars game, I guess. It's like maybe they'll do something
But
with it.
that's
this
the
time.
thing about that. Though,
Maybe it
was
will
that
be better than Phantom Menace was.
It seemed like they had the Star Wars license and they were in the Star Wars universe, but they managed to find a hole in the Star Wars universe where they could be as un-Star Warsy as possible.
Yeah, I guess.
Let's go to Coruscant, which isn't really Star Warsy because it's in barely any of the films, and let's just go into a giant hole in it. And
Well, it's because there's so much Coruscant, you can have whatever you want there.
Yeah.
It's just hidden in one of the sub-levels.
All we need to do is make blasters sound like blasters and have a lightsaber episode.
and the occasional Rhodian.
And you know what? I don't care. That's
Some
fine.
droids.
I'll be fine with that. To be honest,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
occasionally have something go boot 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 boot.
It's about time for them to make a. about time for someone to make a Star Wars game that's actually set in the original trilogy again, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe,
well, they'll be in the new trilogy, won't they? Shortly.
Oh
What
god!
sort of games you going to get out of that film game?
Quite a lot.
The worst kind of games.
Quite a lot of crappy film games. That's what's coming.
Well, unless they come up with some new
Lego,
sort
of
of racing thing.
Plenty of Lego. Did you hear about that controversy over that Lego set?
Which one?
Was it Turkey or some Islamic fundamentalists? Well, not like fundamentalists, not as in extremists, but just fundamentalists.
Okay,
they were trying to stop the sale of the Jabba the Hutt's palace set because they said it looked like a mosque or something.
Oh, really?
And they managed to do it or something. But I think Lego basically held out until they were already due to retire the set and said, "Yeah, we're going with it."
Genius.
Yeah, but still.
Well played, Lego.
Yeah, but it's like, come on, that's Jabba's palace.
I don't remember that building very much.
It does look a bit like Islamic-y, I guess.
Well, they sort of have those turnip tops, don't they?
Sort of, yeah.
It's kind of got a minaret, sort of. It's got a tower, a circular tower. Well, exactly, yeah. And that's not Muslim, is it? By quite a long shot.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a weird way. It's kind of clutching at straws, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
Well, it's not like... Was that... In the film, it wasn't... That was a model. It wasn't like they filmed an actual building somewhere.
No, it was a model. Or it might even have just been a matte painting. I don't know if they even made a model of it.
They didn't really do much outside of it, did they?
No, just a couple of establishing shots and stuff. Maybe that's why they got away with it with the film, but then when you actually make an actual model and sell it to children...
Actually, no, I take it back. That squad-based shooter they did.
Oh, Republic Commando?
Yeah, that was good.
That was alright.
I enjoyed it.
It was good.
It wasn't varied enough.
Yeah.
But it was a good game. All the functions worked well, which was good for a squad shooter, you know what I mean? All of the abilities you could tell your squad to do worked really well. So what do?
Cool.
They follow up with nothing.
Yeah.
It's the same with Battlefront, because I never really liked Battlefront.
Out as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, I never really liked Battlefront, to be honest. I thought it was always like, if I want to play a game like this, I'll play Battlefield because it's better.
Yeah.
And it's like, but it was very popular and was, I think, to date, is the best-selling Star Wars game.
If you don't count Lego Star Wars.
Yeah, if you don't count those, yeah. Like 1 and 2 were serious money spinners for them. So they dropped them again. It's like they didn't bother for years until there were rumours of Battlefront 3, which was far, far in development after, a big old gap for the next-gen machines, which they canned.
Yeah, they canned it.
And it's like, I don't know.
That was the end of Free Radical as well.
It was, yes. But it's just, what Free Radical were working on that?
They were making that.
Oh!
Yeah.
I'd forgotten that bit.
That's the deal.
Ah.
Ben Parbury, he was working on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember now. Alright, yeah, so, in a way, fuck LucasArts.
In a way. That story right.
LucasArts. Yeah, well, they were...
Oh no, Sanders, they've been shut down. Fuck them.
This is what I do.
Fair enough. I think it's about on the nose. I really liked X-Wing vs. TIE Fighter back in the 90s. That was cool.
But anyone could make that game, really.
They didn't.
Yeah, but anyone could.
Yeah.
If anyone could have, anyone could have.
They're totally games. That was awesome.
They were very good.
Yeah.
They technically kicked Wing Commander's ass.
Yeah.
It's a bit of an unfair comparison.
But do you know what I mean? When that turned up, they were just like, well, Wing Commander's no longer a thing anymore, is it?
No.
Just remember that sound of getting locked onto by a missile in that game.
Haunts your dreams.
Goddamn A-Wings. Go anywhere near them. It's like,
No.
That was awesome.
Yeah, it was a pretty great game. You know, actually, just thinking about Rogue Squadron 2 is making me want to fire it up again. I know it had some flaws and it was quite short and stuff.
It was showing off the GameCube hardware quite nicely.
Yeah.
Rogue Squadron 2.
Even if it was a launch game, it was still pretty good.
I played quite a lot of that, actually. I probably got all the equivalent of achievements or whatever in that.
I couldn't do some of the...
I couldn't car.
Yeah.
I did that with cheats, but yeah, it was like
it was hard.
Yeah, getting those golds.
Yeah, that's right.
Really hard
or something.
But it was like the mission structure was such that it didn't feel so bad to do that. I think this is a bigger question here, actually. Like, one of these sort of philosophical design of game questions. I don't find many games that have like missions that I want to retry. Anymore.
Not so much these days.
I'll get to it later. But Assassin's Creed, holy crap! Who wants to do those full syncs?
No one. God damn those.
It's like you don't ever want to retry anything in that game, ever.
Did they keep... Because I guess Brotherhood was the last one I played, wasn't it? So did they keep that going in 3?
It's still in... Well, I don't know. I've been playing Revelations. So
Christ.
We'll get to that later.
Okay.
But, yeah, it's still there. And it's still shit.
Right. Any other news going on? I think we might have quite a lot to cover this week.
There was the Metal Gear shit that came out of GDC, and the ridiculous Kojima reveal where he comes in like all bandaged up,
right?
Like, and it's like, and everyone and they take it off, and it's like, oh, it's Kojima. We didn't see that coming.
Like we didn't see the fact that it was Metal Gear Solid coming.
Well, yeah, okay. The news is that both Metal Gear Ground Zeroes and the Phantom Pain, as it turns out, are 2 separate Metal Gear Solid games. But the Phantom Pain is Metal Gear Solid 5.
And that's using that ridiculous new...
It's using Fox Engine, as is Ground Zero. It's all using Fox Engine. But apparently the internet knew about this. I didn't, because, when do I pay attention?
Exactly.
But apparently the internet had figured out that the Phantom Pain was a Metal Gear Solid game already.
2 minutes.
But I am immediately less interested in it by the fact that it is now called a Metal Gear Solid game. It's just like, as soon as they did that, it's just like, oh, I'm actually mildly disappointed now, because it looked amazing. Or, I don't know, maybe not amazing, but the concept was weird enough that I thought perhaps it could stand alone. To be told that that's just the intro setting for a Metal Gear Solid game just kind of makes me go, not so fussed anymore. And, the background of what they're doing with Metal Gear doesn't sound like it's that appealing anyway. They're trying to fill in a hole in the story before Metal Gear Solid 1 begins. That is probably the least interesting period, I think, during that. So it's like, what exactly are going to be horses on fire and exploding space whales? Where's that going to fit in?
Drugs.
Exactly. It's going to be drugs, it's going to be a hallucination, and then it'll be done with, presumably, by the end of the first act.
And as I said, it can't be a Metal Gear game because the Metal Gears don't exist yet.
No,
that's the whole point.
They don't.
When was
they've done that before?
Well, yeah.
The Metal Gear Solid 3 was set in the 60s or something, wasn't
it?
Yeah. Did that have Metal Gear in it?
That was Big Boss and all that. It can't have had a Metal Gear in it, but they also had the PSP iterations were kind of based in that era as well, so they didn't have any Metal Gear.
Yeah. Metal Gear...
It's like Metal Gear Rising almost, isn't it? Like, without ignoring the fact that there is a game called Metal Gear Rising, it's like Metal Gear prequels leading up to the moment when there was a Metal Gear. But now we're at the stage where there's almost as many of those as there are Metal Gear games.
And after there's only been one real Metal Gear. And then all the other ones are just these weird robots.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think that isn't it in both Metal Gear 1 and 2 where they're proper Metal Gears.
Yeah.
But then in 3,
that's like it.
In 4, they've got those mysterious cow things.
Yeah, the cow robots.
Yeah.
That's so fucking
Those
weird.
things are cool.
No, they're not.
That's the whole idea.
They are. They're awesome.
But they sound like cows.
Yeah, I know. And they look like chickens and they sound like cows. They're awesome.
It's the weirdest fucking thing.
I like those things. They're crazy.
But this is the stupid thing. It's like, as much as I kind of have never had much interest in Metal Gear past the first game, never. I remember playing through 4 and just being so completely knocked back by the weirdness of it. Even if the gameplay is kind of shonky in places, and even if you play it for... It's a fucking experience. Even if it's not... In its own special way.
It's lots of cutscenes away.
Yeah, a Metal Gear game is an experience. And it's it's hard to not appreciate that in some way.
Mm.
But at the same time, I don't have to be interested in it.
Yes. Fair enough.
It's odd, yeah. I was a bit disappointed.
But they just need a new story, basically.
Exactly.
Some new franchise or something.
Kojima literally used all of his creativity now at this point, and he's just nothing but a shambling shell of rehash.
Well, it's like well, they did the same. They had
Shambling.
They had the same problems as as Modern Warfare did, where they used the nuke too early. It's like
What's the trouble?
the first game. It's like, oh, nukes, and then it's like, well, where do we go from here? Fuck.
Drones.
It was the same in 24, wasn't it? The second series.
Yeah,
It had,
exactly.
like a giant nuke go off. It was like, where do you go from that? Well, you don't really.
Yeah, exactly.
Second series
As
of
soon as you
24.
use the nuke,
Oh my god.
What?
Oh, just in general, second series of 24. So good.
Well, it was quite good. You forget about all those long periods of like these two sisters, and one of them's getting married, and
Oh,
yeah. And they're both really annoying.
Fuck,
Yeah.
I've forgotten all of that.
Just don't forget that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, maybe it wasn't so good.
so you better nuke them.
You better do. What's
And
the thing?
would a guy die from radiation poisoning in a day?
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
probably.
probably if it was
Okay.
bad enough. I don't know, because those criticality accidents that have happened, that like it was only a few days until they died, isn't it?
Die from radiation poisoning like instantly if it's bad
Yeah,
enough.
if
It's
it's
just
bad
a scale.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, Metal Gears though. What is? They're completely impractical. What's the deal with Metal Gears? Like a nuclear submarine is the perfect weapon for like transporting nukes. Like a big sloppy robot is totally useless in terms of nuke
Yeah.
launcher.
Unless it can
What you
walk
need-
along the sea, then.
All you need is something to like snare its legs. I don't know. Want to get one of those snow speeder things from Star Wars and screw it up?
Tie it up.
Maybe there'll be a spin-off game that just involves a sequence doing that.
Look, as the Russians know, all you need is a big truck with a thing on the back that lifts it up into launch position, and then you're done. Don't need a big stumpy robot thing.
Speaking of nukes, North Korea.
News.
Yeah.
They haven't got any nukes.
Not any longer anyway, they used them.
They use them testing them.
Yeah, they were just sitting there going, "Oh, pretty fireworks."
They do it underground, so you can't even see the fireworks.
Yeah, I know. That's the disappointing part.
Either way, so dumb. Wait, they do it under? Is that possible?
Yeah, underground nuclear tests. They're basically the only ones that are done now.
How?
Well, they stopped doing air
Does it
bursts
not-
in like the 70s or something,
suppose
didn't they?
it
Because they
doesn't-
realised that you don't want to get radiation everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, how does that work then? Does it not like just blow dirt and shit?
No, you do
It's
it
like,
far enough.
How do you?
You do it in a massive mountain or something.
It like creates a shockwave crater and then it's like subsides a bit, but it doesn't
Yeah.
explode
Weird.
upwards.
Yeah, and then you can measure it and stuff. I mean, even...
I would have thought there would have been enough pressure to like seriously fuck shit up. Like if you put it underground.
It
Like,
does fuck shit up, but I mean,
It's like
the
they,
Earth is huge.
it was like because they did a lot of testing with like when they were thinking about using nukes as anti-ship weapons, and they they discovered that it doesn't really work very well when you put them underwater.
Yeah.
The shockwave just gets absorbed quite too much.
Yeah,
really?
exactly.
Although I guess water is different from rock because
But then
the
surely
compressors and
is radiation more of a problem in water because it would like get caught in currents and?
Well, it would irradiate all the water, yeah.
Yeah.
But by the time you're in a nuclear war, you don't really care, do you?
Well, no, I guess not.
But they did, I mean, the French nuclear tests in the 90s, which everyone seems to have forgotten about, but I remember because Greenpeace kept sailing up to them. I don't know if you remember that.
I really
It was a
don't.
long time ago, but we were alive and they were doing nuclear tests. I mean, the US had stopped doing doing testing years ago, but the French, for some reason, wanted to do some.
yeah.
So they did some on an atoll in the Pacific or something, but that was
As you always
underground.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was underground, I think. But yeah, just in general, just don't do that.
So dumb.
Yeah.
But yeah, people, you don't want. Even North Korea managed to work out that you don't want radiation going everywhere.
yeah, exactly. Well, I think they would have. Yeah, they probably wouldn't care about doing an atmospheric test, but other people would be like, "What the hell are you doing?"
They notice more.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but you can notice immediately because you just measure it on the Richter scale or whatever.
Yeah,
It's like a
like an earthquake.
small earthquake going on. What was that?
All you need to wage any war is a stern bitch slap. Nothing says "fuck you" in a worse way.
You need to design a giant robot that administers stern bitch slaps, like
A Metal Gear like creature
Yeah.
that just walks up to the White House and goes "whoop-ha!"
There you go,
Magic.
sorted.
And then just walks away and goes, "You've been served."
More effective than nukes.
Anyway,
So anyway.
retarded. Stop endangering humanity, you bitches. All of you bitches.
They should just get it
Like-
over with. That's what I say. Because I'm a because I'm a giant dick like that. I just think like, for Christ's sake, stop. It's been going on for too long. Just do something,
What?
even if it's just to get yourself completely murdered.
Right, you're basically just saying, "Man up, North Korea."
Yeah, exactly. If you're going to retardedly take this shit and then take it, just take it.
I'm going to respectfully disagree. I quite value being alive.
I saw this future
It's not
map.
going to affect us. That's the whole point.
Like a future map of the Korean Peninsula on Reddit, and it was like South Korea was this island, and then it was separated. It was separated from Russia by all this water that was marked Freedom Bay. Yes. Well, hopefully that won't happen.
I read that they have their Aegis cruisers that they've been moving up onto the coast or whatever, because it's like, oh, they're launchers. And I didn't realise that the Aegis system is meant to be able to shoot stuff down in space.
Yeah, that's a bit overstated. I don't think it is. That's a lie.
But also, it's like, then why would you even need to put it that close? Because by the time it's in space, it's a long way away.
No, they're going to shoot them down in the boost phase.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the idea. And no, Aegis can't target satellites.
Well, I'm sure it can't target satellites.
Yeah.
That's probably a different problem. That's probably to do with detection more. Because, I mean, when it's a giant fucking rocket, you can probably see it quite easily.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it's confused because Aegis destroyers or whatever can carry anti-satellite missiles or have carried them, but they're not targeted using the Aegis combined radar system. You know, they have their own targeting, or they know from like watching the satellite go around the Earth with where space commands, where it's going to be. Yeah. So I think that's just slightly confused messaging coming from the BBC News.
You aren't allowed to shoot stuff in space, though, are you, anyway?
No,
there's international treaties.
Yeah, but I think they have been tested.
But are you allowed to shoot stuff in space providing it's from the ground? Is it only space-to-space combat that's not allowed?
Yeah, you're definitely not allowed to put weapons in orbit. I don't think that's the thing.
Yeah.
Certainly not nukes, but I think you're not supposed to put weapons in orbit. But yeah, shooting at satellites from the ground might be somewhat allowed. I think they've shot down their own.
Yeah, because they've done those. I remember there was news about like China, or was it? Probably China, but they shot down an old disused satellite just to show that they could. I guess.
I mean, the trouble with it is you make space debris that runs into all the other satellites and causes a massive chain reaction and sends us back. Fucks everything up.
They need to figure out a way of cleaning up what's there.
They do.
Pretty soon.
I think there are some proposals for hoovering up space crap.
Giant magnet.
Yeah, giant magnet. Well, no, you just need gravity, enough. I don't know the best way to do it.
Just steal a moon and just fly it around.
Basically, we're talking Katamari.
It's a Katamari, space Katamari.
Sold.
Exactly. All we need is the king of
the trouble would be avoiding all the other satellites.
Yeah.
You just get everything, not just the bits you don't want.
So, anything else come out of GDC and PAX of interest to anyone?
No.
My eye caught... Now, I'm going to be careful how I say this, because the game's artwork is of...
Sorry.
Well, let's just say it's interesting. Ignoring that up front, I quite liked the look of Dragon's Crown, which is this new... It's by Vanillaware, who are famous for games like Muramasa and Odin Sphere, which are insanely artistic, really nice, sort of Oriental-inspired. If you like the sort of style that Okami uses, for instance, and
cool.
Games like that, sort of traditional Japanese-looking things. Yeah, they're really nice. And then so Odin Sphere and Muramasa are basically sort of hack and slashy sort of games, a bit like Dust and Elysian Tale sort of gameplay. But now they're doing what looks like Castle Crashers, but with their art style.
Cool.
And more RPG elements to it and things like that. Yeah, and it looks beautiful. But you've got to... The one thing that's hard to look past, and that I was alluding to, is they obviously have no concept of correct anatomy. Because you just go and look at it. They're fucking ridiculous.
Right.
They have, horizontal knocks. It's...
Sorry?
The bosoms.
Right.
They literally have... They just seem to go forwards and not down. It's really weird.
That's bizarre.
Yeah. It's utterly weird art style. But, for the characters. Everything else looks nice. But it looked pretty interesting. They haven't shown much of it yet, but another game like Castle Crashers doesn't sound like a bad thing. We liked Castle Crashers. We liked Scott Pilgrim.
Indeed, quite like Scott Pilgrim.
So there,
the game,
yeah,
and the film,
or everything Scott Pilgrim was good.
Maybe
the music's good. Both game and film.
What about the comic, though?
I've read one part of it. Yeah, it was
pretty good. So Like, maybe, as I said.
Yeah, comics good as well.
So, should we move on to games? Have we done news? Because I've got a bit of games.
Yeah, I can't think of much
News,
else.
I own a 3DS charging cable and Luigi's Mansion.
Do you need me to demo to get? Do you need to buy it off my friend or something?
No. He's
It's
ordered
coming.
one.
All right, it's coming.
But he ordered the pack that comes with Fire Emblem, and that's not out yet.
Yeah.
Oh,
So he's got all the it's like other
It's because for some reason, when you're using the free shipping on Amazon, they want to give you more packaging because they won't let you do it in one packet.
well,
Yeah.
can't you choose to have it all in one thing?
Only if you're using first class, which costs money.
Well, that's dumb.
It's like,
Oh well,
they're spending more money on packaging. What?
they must have their reasons.
Yeah, there must be some economy of scale thing that
Yeah.
means they can do that, but
Yeah, I expect so.
it's kind of weird.
But yeah,
I still agree, it's kind of odd. But
so I
so
have
did you figure out the mystery behind it? Is it as we thought that 3DSs just literally don't come with a charger?
That's not a mystery. They don't.
I find that so hard to believe.
That's bizarre.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it just a weird fucking thing?
How much is a charger?
£6.
Oh, that's not so bad.
No.
They gouge you for chargers for like a Kindle or something, or
Anything Apple.
or yeah, I bought an Apple like charger. It doesn't even come with a cable. It still costs £15.
I dread to think how much the dock cost that Gnome got me for my iPhone so I can stand it up on my nightstand.
Yeah, they are
It's
like
just
£20 or something.
Stupid money.
I've got one too.
Stupid money.
It's done.
I didn't buy a 3DS cradle. I was just like,
Yeah,
plug it into a cable. What's
Yeah.
the difference?
Well, you might need it if you're planning on playing Kid Icarus.
No, that's a stand. That's a different thing.
Yeah.
And also, I think it comes with a stand.
Oh, does it?
I think so.
comes with a stand, but not a
Well,
charger.
you can buy. Obviously, you can buy the pack with the
So you can
Pro
virtual boy it.
thing. Whatever the fuck that is.
Mm.
Circle Pad Pro. That's what I
Oh
was thinking
god,
of.
that thing.
Oh god.
Not going to get that.
No.
I don't care about the kid.
Avoid that. If you want to play games like that, get a PS Vita.
That's not the same thing. It's like you can't play that game on anything apart from that. So you might need the appropriate controls.
I suppose that's sort of news in a way, actually. The Vita's future is looking slightly brighter, what with Sony's new like indie lineup coming up.
Mm.
You know, indies, you know, all the ones that have come out saying they're in support of PS4 and PS3 will almost all of them are getting a cross-play version on Vita.
Cool.
So it's like,
I like that.
okay, holy crap, Vita may actually get some life in it. Maybe it won't get. Maybe this is a better form of gaming for the Vita. You know, don't bother with the full, like, the classic gaming experience, I suppose, armchair gaming on a portable device, because that obviously, to me, that has never really worked. So, you know, go down the indie route. Maybe you've got a winner.
We shall see.
Yeah. So, future may be bright for Vita. Maybe. It's just like several years overdue.
Yeah, that's sort of the problem. It's like it's going to be like outdated hardware by the time the PS4 comes out. Then you have to buy a new version.
I'm not sure about that. Vita is like it's a hell of a machine. Even after what has it been out nearly a year now? Maybe longer than that. Probably longer than that. Yeah, and
So it's hella old.
it's still great. It's not really aged yet.
How would you know anyway?
I don't know. Good point. But I don't know. Technically, like the PSP, well ahead of its time.
Yeah.
If it's like that,
Well, it was that was ahead of its time, though. It's like, what is Vita ahead of its time really in any way? I wouldn't have said so.
well, if
It's
you think,
about on schedule for its time.
well, I don't know if any other machine can really claim to be putting out not quite PS3 graphics on a handheld in the same way that the PSP was not quite PS2 graphics.
But would it be able to handle PS4 graphics?
No.
No, exactly.
Simply no. But then it will take like another 5 years for them to make something that can do that.
And then no one will care. Again.
Probably.
It's
But
the
like-
future.
But by that point, maybe the architecture of that stuff will, like, if they can do cross-play and it's easy to do so, maybe by that point they won't be so bad to just sort of, do backwards compatibility properly.
Maybe.
So you'll have all the Vita library available on.
Everyone will just be wearing VR goggles all the time by that point anyway.
Clearly.
It's the future. Not really, I'm joking.
But-
Hoverboards as well. Yeah. You won't need a PSP 3 when you've got a hoverboard.
Alright, I'm done theorising. Games!
Cool. Games. This week, I've mostly been playing Bioshock Infinite.
Woo! So what's that like?
Yeah.
Tell me. Spoiler free.
Okay. Spoiler free. Yes.
Did you actually finish it?
I haven't finished it. No.
That's the bit. Because that's the bit that's apparently the bit you don't want to spoil.
That's the thing. Yeah, the ending apparently is the shit.
I don't think there's much I can spoil at this point. Actually, I've played like 5 hours of it or something.
Shoot dudes
halfway through. Yeah, you shoot dudes. Spoilers. You shoot quite a few dudes.
It looks
spoilers. There's probably audio logs. I don't even know.
It's got
there's a shit
audio
ton
logs.
of audio logs. It's like 90, isn't there, or something, or some high number? 70.
It's not 70. Constant. Like there's a few. There's quite a few. But
the voxophone thing.
The voxophones. Yeah. What were they called in Bioshock?
Just recorders.
Recorders. Okay. Because they changed the names of things. Like plasmids are no longer. They are now called tonics or something. Oh no. What are they called?
Because tonics was.
Oh no. They're called vigors. That's right.
Vigors. Okay.
And salts are the
tonics
equivalent. Yeah.
Oh well. Oh no. So salts are the blue shit.
Yeah. What was that called in Bioshock? I don't know.
I can't remember actually. What was the blue shit called? But, I don't know.
The stuff.
The magic.
The thing was that like. In Bioshock, all that stuff actually had an explanation. Ultimately,
everything
had tied in. Like,
everything had a backstory.
Like the plasmids and stuff were all tied to the fall of the city and everything, and the technology and everything. Whereas in this, it's just like vigors.
Vigors now.
By the way, there's vigors. So far they haven't explained that, and I have a feeling they're not going to bother with that because they're busy with the rest of their story.
But this world is even weirder than that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite a weird world.
Because it's not. It obviously can't be in the same setting as old Bioshock, because old Bioshock is kind of
don't know yet.
Sort of grounded in like that Rapture was kind of a secret. Sort of.
Yeah.
It wasn't really, as far as we know, it's not that known to the outside world. Whereas this is kind of different. Columbia is quite a known thing. Although people seem to have forgotten about it. Like, I think it's set in 1910 or something. But they've just cut contact.
Yeah, they've sodded off into the clouds. So no one, I don't think anyone knows where they are or what's going on.
But then you're sent there.
Yeah, you are sent there, but presumably by someone in the know, or these two mysterious people who occasionally keep turning up, a man and a woman, who seem quite hilarious.
They must be the comedy characters that I've heard about.
Right.
Yeah.
Potentially. Yeah. So that they seem.
There was a double act.
Yeah.
I knew that much.
So that's kind of cool. Yeah. So. It's a lot less, like, Columbia is obviously a lot more light and airy than the rather oppressive Rapture.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot more open, and I quite like that.
Makes sense, sky versus water.
Yeah, sky versus water, so thematically that works quite nicely.
But then that's what they were always good at.
It's very nice looking. It's the lighting that's amazing. I think they've worked very hard on it, because I think it's the Unreal 3 engine, but apparently they've got their own deferred lighting solution that they've written, and you can tell because the whole thing is like lit really beautifully. It kind of looks like a kind of Pixar film, kind of effectively.
I've heard
mixed,
real. I've heard mixed opinions about Bioshock's technical.
I'm
side.
Quite impressed, especially by the lighting and the modelling. Obviously, I mean, there's so much.
I like
much
the
detail.
Character styles. I kind of always did, but the bit I'm not so keen about in the way that the Bioshock universe did things was the animation side.
Yeah, that's true. It's a bit. I find the animation's a bit over-egged.
Very much so.
But that kind of goes.
They weirdly look quite Double Finey. If you ask me.
A little bit. Like Elizabeth, I guess they've put massive effort into her animation just to make her believable, and it is good. I mean, there's a lot of. She never does the same thing twice that much. I mean, if you look at her face and stuff, it's like it's all very carefully done to make her look like to follow the story or whatever. Like she looks annoyed with you and she looks happy with Lance or something, which I guess is the obvious equivalent. She's a lot more subtle and real, I think. Although I don't know. It's a bit weird moving around if you're comparing those two. It's like Elizabeth can sort of runs ahead of you, but I find so, and you never have to like protect her or anything. No. But that is basically just like Jeff Gersman says, it's basically because they don't bother shooting her at all. They just shoot you, which is a bit weird.
It's like she's not there.
Yeah, it's almost like she's not there. But the thing that I find a bit disconcerting, I suppose it occasionally happened with Alex, but not that much, is that I swear she's teleporting around. She just always does it outside of my field of vision, and it's very disconcerting.
Which is clever in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, it is clever,
but you have that uncanny
feeling of like, wait, I shut that door, and now what? It's quite weird. But yeah, okay. So yeah, it's really nice looking. It's the combat is good. I'd say it's probably Bioshock, and then a step up to Bioshock 2, and now this is very slick in comparison to Bioshock 1. It's like
okay, so it's sort of on the same level as the last one.
Yeah, I didn't play that much too, but you certainly can fire a Vig at any time without switching to it or any of that nonsense.
That was a pain in the ass.
Yeah, and the weapons are quite. They're not like very distinctive each. I mean, they're nicely modelled and everything, but like there's not too much difference between a pistol and a carbine or whatever. They're like but it's kind of cool. You can carry two at a time, but
it forces you to do weapon swapping and stuff because of ammo.
Yeah, that's true. So you have to swap weapons, but you never feel too bad about it because most of the weapons are quite useful. Like you don't get
how the weapon system worked in. No, I think you could just whip anyone you wanted out, couldn't you, in Bioshock? And then,
could you?
Yeah, I think you were carrying, like, all of them.
That's kind of cool.
Old Quake style.
That's kind of cool, old Quake style. Because playing Half-Life through, or the new mod Half-Life, or was it Black Mesa, it's like, it's actually nice to be able to just pick whatever gun you need for the situation, rather than having to, like, juggle.
It's sometimes refreshing.
Yeah, it's sometimes refreshing. Yeah, but anyway, it's got the standard Halo pick up the gun system. Yeah. And then it's just got... I guess like Bioshock, it's just got loot everywhere. So you spend half your time, just searching around,
searching bodies,
the environment, and it's nice because you get to see the whole environment. It's really nicely made, and you discover things like the voxophones or just things in the environment. I mean,
it is playing to its strength,
exactly
by that aspect, because the setting and the atmosphere of Rapture was great.
Yeah,
I think that was the problem is that it was much better than the rest of the game.
Yeah,
so I think that's where
they've brought it up to a par on the slickness. Like the atmosphere's there.
Okay,
and then they've made the actual mechanics of the combat good.
Okay, well that's cool.
Well done. I think
it really stood out. I think in the last ones, it's like the actual mechanics of the game were just not as hot as the setting, and in the case of the first game, the story.
So this has got that slickness up there, so that it all feels right or whatever at the same kind of level of things. The vigors, like I find it too easy on medium. Actually, I would go up to hard if you were starting it.
A lot of people have been saying that. Yeah,
it's.
I played through Bioshock on hard to be the first two on hard mode, and because that was pretty difficult to start. But it was one of those games where it started really hard, and then as you got more powerful, actually the difficulty curve went backwards.
Right, interesting. Yeah.
So maybe they
with the giant wacky. You don't have the giant wacky thing.
No electric wrenches.
What you've got now is you've got the thing that grabs onto the sky rails, the grapple thing, and you kind of use that for execution style.
I've seen a couple of those,
which are grim.
They're well brutal,
and it's bizarre because it just happens out of nowhere. Like the first moment you go into combat, you have that thing. And it's like you go from just wandering around the city to like murdering people by chainsawing their chest cavity or like getting their head inside the thing and twirling it around so it pops off, and it's like immediate, like super gross, hardcore stuff. It's quite bizarre, but it is satisfying, of course, in its kind of Gears of War chainsaw kind of way. But it's
but then again, Gears of War, even with the fact that you're chainsawing someone, it was never quite believable in its own sort of weird way.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I sort of doubt whether actually you could chain through someone as easily as you do in those.
Probably not.
But bone.
Depends what locusts are like.
Fucking bone.
Yeah.
But it's there's something about the grapple twizzly bit to the face that's disturbingly real.
It's quite disturbing. I'm not sure that the chainsawing into the chest, that just doesn't look like it would actually work because it didn't look like it would be sharp enough. But the getting the head inside one of the clamps and then twisting it around, that looks like that would probably work. Anyway,
so it's filthy.
Yeah, it's quite gruesome.
People need to stop doing that.
Doing what?
Over gore.
Yeah, ridiculous gore in like Tomb Raider was ridiculous.
Yeah.
That is Tomb Raider's a weird one because the actual actions she's performing are pretty gross, but it doesn't visualize the grossness of it. Like, you'll be shooting someone up the chin, like with a shotgun or something, and their head's perfectly fine.
Well, yeah, but then there's all the death animations as well.
Oh, well, yeah, the sort of, like, let's see how we can get Lara killed stuff. Yeah, that's fair.
That does seem a bit masochistic.
Fairly nasty.
Yeah, I know, weird.
It's in a couple where you're, like, zip wiring about, but there's, like, if you don't drop off the zip wire, there's, like, a spike wall, and you just get skewered. And then it hangs there for a while while you're just, like, impaled on this thing, and you're going... trying like hands and like trying like feeling the pole and stuff, and like it goes on for way too long.
Who needs to stop doing that? It's like I'm not.
But that kind of was Tomb Raider's thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, but in like the ancient old days where it was just like
it didn't look like shit. Yeah,
you just clip through the spikes.
Yeah.
Well, the crumple.
Swallow dive.
The crumple in the original Tomb Raider always freaked me out a little bit because you just sort of lump onto the floor, don't you? And it's a horrible sound.
Yeah, kind of pre-ragdoll stuff.
But it's just like I wouldn't play. I don't want to play Dead Space, and I don't want to play Dead Space in all these other games either. Thanks.
Yeah.
I don't need strategic dismemberment on fucking everything.
Well, Dead Space is the other extreme for me. That is the game. Is that
stuff?
It's fun. That's why it's fine.
Yeah, but
I wouldn't play it anyway, and I don't
true.
want to have to put up with that in other games. Like how you were talking about Max Payne 3.
Oh, well, the face explosion.
Where it's just like totally unnecessary.
It is unnecessary.
It's out of place.
You don't have to keep shooting.
No, yeah,
but it is a bit. Yeah, it is.
In fact, I probably wouldn't because of the ammo conservation thing.
Well, I'm not convinced that it uses your ammo. I still can't tell that. Anyway, but back to Bioshock. So the but like it doesn't have that horror overtones of the first because it's just not dark enough, and it doesn't have splices. So you don't have creepy things jumping at you out of the dark. Whereas in this,
you see stuff in a shadow where it looks like a mother tending to a baby, and then they get around the corner and it's someone tending a pack of fags in a pram.
Yeah, something weird like
bizarre.
that. Well, you do get weird stuff, but it's just not got that horror element to it. So it's like it's that they're just like policemen that come recharging at you or whatever and stuff or whatever. It's more light and airy in general. Obviously there's weird stuff going on,
suddenly infused with face stabbing
and so story wise I'm not no spoilers and haven't got super far, but like it's interesting just the amount of it almost seems like most games that have story, I don't know, like Half-Life or whatever, or games like that, it's like you play some gameplay and then there's a bit of story, and then you play some gameplay and then there's a bit of story happens. This is almost opposite. It's like story, bit of shooting, story. It's like all the environments are tailored to give you more information about the city and about the set story. Not just the setting, but to like tell you almost plot points. Okay. It gets a bit wearing sometimes because you're basically sometimes going through like the Hall of Heroes, for example. It's like a museum with statues and exhibits that you're walking through room by room that are telling you more story. Like this is this character. Here's a giant golden statue of this character. This.
How much exposition is Elizabeth doing at that point?
Not that much, actually.
Well, because that's good. That's the fine line to walk. Because it's got to.
She knows less than you, almost. Because
it's the classic thing, isn't it, with exposition, that they almost they shouldn't tell you things that are painfully obvious, or they shouldn't tell you things that everyone in that scenario would know.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't explain the concepts of your own world.
Yeah.
Like
unless you've got
have
some
them visual.
Brilliant excuse. Yeah, exactly. Show, don't tell, and that's where exposition gets really clunky. But this does quite well.
Like if magnetic trains became the normal, and it's like everyone referred to them as magnetic trains.
Yeah,
it's like no one would call them
just
magnetic
call them
trains, but they'd be trains. Yeah,
yeah,
or some other stupid name like movers.
Maglets.
Maglets,
or
something like that.
Or the tube,
or the hovers,
the sky rails. The Skyrail's quite... I thought when I first saw the gameplay videos that Skyrail stuff would be impossible, but it's really easy to use.
There's a couple of scenes, some of the gameplay stuff I've seen, like there's a couple of moments where it looks like that stuff could be fucking nuts, and it could be a bit hard to...
It works nicely, because you can't really miss. Like, you can see a big highlight on the thing if you're looking at it to attach to it, and then it's like, auto-attach.
Oh, and then... I remember there was I don't know if it was Metroid or what, but there was a game at one point that did that if you were... Oh, it was Batman, wasn't it? Where if there was an ability to grapple that you couldn't see off screen, you just push the grapple button and it'll sort itself out.
Yeah. it is Batman-esque in that sense, I guess. And then once you're on the skyline, you have a bit of controls. At first, it teaches you this gradually, but you can, once you get to the big areas with skylines, they tend to go around in a circle. So even if you stay on them, you're not going to doom yourself by staying on. But you can change direction and you can speed up and slow down. But then all you do is you aim at the ground. There's a big green target for where you're going to land.
Okay. Yeah.
And if you land on if you aim at a person, it says like
Batman
style, air assassination, so that stuff works nicely. I'm only just getting to the kind of rift stuff. That's the Elizabeth's
reality shifting things.
Yeah, Elizabeth's ability, but it basically is like, do you want this one or this one or this one?
Yeah.
Do you want a turret or do you want some ammo or cover or something?
Yeah, I've heard that was all optional. Like you can only have one of those things at a time.
Yeah, you just have to hold down F or whatever when you're looking at it, and it will spawn into existence or something. That stuff I haven't quite got, hang on, but it's pretty cool. But yeah, story, it's just and all its like typical Bioshock style sort of moral messages, and well, not even moral, but like this is what this civilization does, and how blatant everything is.
Okay, yeah.
It's not subtle at all. Like, I know this is kind of, I can tell Ken Levine and stuff is obviously going for sort of video games as art to an extent, and that this has more serious themes than your average game or whatever, or even compared to films and stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
That's what he's going for. And absolutely the artwork, in terms of the work that artists have done to make these environments and stuff, is beautiful, and it looks great with the rendering and lighting and stuff, but it is not subtle. It is bashing you over the head with its message constantly. Like, it's not, satire-wise, it's like...
What's the message?
Well, depending on the thing, but it's like, for instance, I'm going to an area now which is the industrial zone, and it's like got a lot of very heavy-handed sort of messages saying, you want to be a bee, you want to be a worker bee, you don't want like sick pay or any of these things, you want to be, I don't know.
That was kind of...
It's true with Bioshock too, I guess.
Yeah, but that's right. But so when you say that it's like it's not just the graphics around that are saying that. Like Bioshock had that thing where it would show like those posters or something, like the motivational posters.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
But okay. So so this is less of that and more just straight up in your face.
Well, it's got giant posters. I mean, they look they're so crisp. The lettering on them, it almost like they're not quite postery enough.
Well, and they perhaps wouldn't have been printed in 1910.
Well, all that stuff is weird. I mean, none of that makes any sense. I mean, they talk about, how does it float or whatever. Obviously, they're glossing over that. And then obviously there's some scientist woman who knows quantum mechanics and stuff. Quantum mechanics, I'm not sure, came around until the 20s. Did it? 10s?
I don't know, because she was floating in Colombia all that time and then fell to Earth, and it's like, go have some quantum mechanics, Dad.
So that's a slightly weird, and there's loads of anachronisms, obviously. I mean, none of it makes... And like, enemy-wise, I mean, I've only just got to the big hands guy, but I've fought a few of those mechanical patriot dudes, and they're just, they're fine. They're just not as scary as a Big Daddy. Yeah. I don't know, they're not as iconic or whatever.
Big Daddies were a big deal in the first one.
Exactly. And they have a point in the
world.
Less
of a deal in the second one, but...
Yeah. Because they have protecting the little sisters and everything. It was all part of the whole ecosystem of the plasmid stuff and all that. What was it? Eve? Or
Eve was
Adam. Is it Adam?
Oh, no,
Adam.
Eve was the blue stuff.
Yeah, okay.
And Adam was the material they were trying to suck out of dead people.
That's right, yeah. That all made sense. I'm sure this stuff will, as I go through Infinite, it will, there'll be more intriguing and stuff. And there are certainly things going on. It's like, what's that about, and what's going on, and everything. But yeah, it's leading you through. But yeah, pretty cool. I'm enjoying it.
From what I hear, it's like, I don't know. Presumably will be the inevitable sequel, but it's like Bioshock. It's like, is it going to be one of those universes that really deserves it? Because I still is better at mechanically as Bioshock 2 was. I kind of wish it didn't exist.
Yeah.
Because the story of Bioshock 1 stands on its own much better.
Much better, yeah. Fair enough.
Awkward boss fight aside. But
yeah, I will see how the ending of this one pans out for you guys.
Yeah.
But, any other questions about that crazy-ass game?
Well, it's on my to-do list. You'll
like it, and it'll run nice. Oh, I should talk about it runs quite nicely on mine, which I was quite surprised by.
Oh, did they fix the physics problem?
Which one?
Because Bioshock 1 had the awkward problem where anything that was governed by physics ran at 30 frames per second, despite the rest of the game running at 60.
I certainly haven't noticed a problem, but I would have thought it's... I mean, is it even the same? I mean, it's iteration on the engine. Unreal 3, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's quite... That was like... When was Bioshock? 5 years ago or something? I would have thought it's significantly different tech by this point, I think.
Oh, I'd hope, because that was one... Because even in Bioshock 2, it still had that problem. And it was...
Right.
It was jarring because the game would be running fine up until one of those robots or something would fly by with its janky frame rate.
Right.
And it just looked really fucking weird.
No, I haven't noticed anything weird.
Or when stuff ragdolled, it would suddenly lose frames.
I think you're fine there. I was expecting this to be the first AAA game that I wouldn't be able to run comfortably on my graphics card, but it's just about on the 1080p 60 frames.
I think they get away with most of the look through art, not through tech.
Well, you say that, but there's a lot of detail in terms of textures and character models, and the lighting is impressive. But I know what you mean. It certainly isn't technically as good as like Crysis 3 or something, but it doesn't matter because, as you say, the art makes up for it.
Yeah, as I say, you can beat tech with art if done well.
And I think this is certainly an example of nicely. And I tell you what's really good. The loading stuff seems to work great. Like there are occasional big, not big, but like going into a new area loading pauses. But the areas are big enough that it's clearly streaming stuff nicely.
Okay, yeah, because they were pretty big in Bioshock, to be honest, and you got like blatant loading sections when you move to a different area, but the areas were pretty big. So the long load times were kind of you could kind of explain away because the area it's loading is pretty big.
Exactly. But in this, there's there are scripted sequences where you're like flying through skylines and around and through the air and falling off things. No loading pauses in sight or anything. It's really nicely done. That's the one thing that...
Well, it's just good level design. If they know you're going down some route, then they know that should be there before you do it.
Yeah, they've clearly got the streaming tech working nicely, which is the one thing that Valve haven't quite got there yet. I know they've got a new source engine, and that's clearly the main thing that they need to fix, because for years one thing that would improve Half-Life 2 style games would be just no loading pauses. That would be amazing. You wouldn't ever be breaking out.
That would be pretty amazing, because they had the mini pauses and they had the big pauses, didn't they, where it would black out and you'd get a level name.
But you get them all the time in the mini pauses all the time in episode 2 or whatever.
Yeah, that's just pretty frequent.
This is dumb.
But they were quite small.
Yeah, sure. But if they're
I remember them being more of a problem back in Half-Life 1.
Yeah,
to be honest, where there were some really weirdly positioned ones.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, but if they're small, then in this day and age, you should be able to stream that over. So,
or at least have the tiniest of hitches like Halo 1 did.
Yeah, the tiny hitch. Yeah, that was great, and that was years ago. Oh,
I still love that how they still do that in the Halo games, where it's like loading done.
Loading done. Yes,
it's like
so cool.
The most pointless bit of information on screen that they could show. Just like loading done.
It was cool. Speaking of Halo, I played a bit of Griffball the other day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had a lot of fun doing that.
It's freaking funny, isn't it?
It's freaking awesome. Is that a new thing for 4?
No, I think they put it in Reach.
Oh man, super awesome. We started out with swords and hammers, and then moved to like the beam rifle or whatever stuff. It was pretty awesome.
It's
nice.
Nice.
Rocket launchers, that was pretty.
Yeah,
hilarious.
rocket ones are good.
Yeah, 2v2 Griffball is hilarious.
This reminds me of the old, I think it was Halo 3 where they brought in Rocket Race,
right?
As an official thing. It didn't start that way, but enough people were playing it that they incorporated it. And it's like, that's pretty funny. It's just like everyone, infinite health, everyone on those mongoose things.
Yeah.
And the only way to, it's just a race, but you just had to blow each other out of the way using rockets. Great.
Awesome. Yeah, crazy ass game. That does sound like fun.
Nearly as good as our 300% speed beat 'em up match
and the challenge
dome.
Well, that golf thing as well, didn't we?
Oh yeah,
that was a bit crap.
Yeah, that was quite crap. Grunt golf, we called it, or something. It's just basically a melee fight, like who can kill the most grunts with a golf club.
So anyway,
Fucking dumb.
that's my main thing this week, probably next week too, so you can find out more about crazy ass spoilers next time. Who's next?
Is that it? Nothing else?
No,
Is that your
mostly
gameplay?
Bioshock, yeah.
So I'm most of the way through Assassin's Creed Revelations.
Indeed.
It's basically just ate my time the last couple of weeks.
Okay. Does it have the draw? Amazing.
But this is the thing, all of the Assassin's Creed games have the draw with me.
Right, okay.
But that doesn't necessarily mean I think they're a great game.
Right, okay.
It's this weird fucking thing about the series. Where
Right.
It's just like, for all its mechanical flaws, and for all of its weirdness, and for all of its, like, I don't quite get it approach, I can't put it down.
Lol.
It's like, a bit of me somewhere enjoys it. But I'm not sure why anymore. Because Brotherhood
Yeah.
was mechanically the best in the series so far.
Absolutely, yeah.
But didn't really have much of a story. And up to that point, I was playing it for the story.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
the
true,
story,
it's
the
kind of a
story was
side
quite
thing.
weak. Revelations is just... It has no story.
Has no revelations.
The
that's
story
for sure.
is terrible.
Right.
Like, there's nothing there. And like, what Ezio is doing just makes no sense.
Awesome.
It's like, he's just... Okay. It's an old game. I'm going to go in deep here.
Fair enough.
Desmond... Let's go to that storyline first. Desmond is in a coma.
Right.
And apparently the only way to keep
After
his
he
brain...
got stabbed by that girl.
after he stabbed
Oh, he
Lucy
stabbed the
under
girl.
the influence of the apple. So he's in a coma, and apparently the only way to keep his brain together so he doesn't start freaking out and going like all Subject 16 is to leave him in the Animus.
Right.
And have him relive memory. Well, apparently the solution is that he has to finish Ezio's memory so he can reconcile with himself.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
kind of weird. So you get ended up on this thing called Animus Island, which is like the hub world, except it's tiny, there's no real point in it. You basically walk through a door to go back to Constantinople, which is the setting for this one. You occasionally talk to Subject 16, who is apparently there
On Animus
and has a
Island.
person. You know, he has a model and everything now.
Oh,
And
right.
is kind of weird, but tells you fuck all, really. He's just basically the one that says, it's like, yeah, you're going nuts. You need to finish this memory and then you'll be okay again.
Right. Okay.
Pretty much it. That is the entire Desmond storyline so far.
Brill.
And you sort of get to find out about Desmond's past, which I think is retconning, to
Right.
be honest, because in Assassin's Creed 1, it's played like he doesn't know a fucking thing about the assassins.
Yeah.
As
true.
it turns out, he was brought up as an assassin and then decided to leave.
Right.
And it's like, retcon warning!
Assassin's Creed retcon.
Yeah.
Nations.
Well, unless it was just like amnesia, and now you're in his brain and you can see
And
it.
you can remember... No, just... I sincerely hope not. It's like... Admittedly, he did go and work in a bar, so maybe he drank it out of him, but... drank it out of him, but... Yeah, I don't know. Just no. That's those are these memory sequences where you're reliving his past, which are basically like first-person platforming sections,
Oh, great. That doesn't sound good.
which take place apparently in the raw data of the Animus, which is like block world, basically, made of concrete and wood for some reason. And you can put concrete platforms in front of you, which gets somewhat affected by the world and blah, blah, blah. It's really weird, but they replace all the puzzly stuff that were in 2 and Brotherhood.
You mean like the temple type things?
Kind of, when it went off into the
I know.
different phrase and you have to do those weird artistic puzzles.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Or
Sorry.
play that game of
Yeah,
chess in Brotherhood and
When you have to find like weird invisible graffiti.
yeah,
with the eagle
that
vision
kind of stuff. And the sort of kind of interesting little asides. Sometimes made no fucking sense, but interesting nonetheless. They're all gone, replaced with this thing, and it's a shame because they suck. I don't get the point at this point. I haven't done all of them. I've got the last one unlocked now. You have to unlock the ability to do those by collecting what is the feather equivalent, which is data fragments. There's like 100 of them in Constantinople, and you can just go and find them. By the time you've got 30 of them, though, you have all these Desmond memories. You can fuck your way through.
Just memories.
Yeah. So anyway, look, Ezio in the meantime, many years ago, is trying to find the Masyaf keys. Now, Masyaf is the setting of where the Assassin's Creed headquarters, I suppose, back in Altair's age. And he's left a ton of memories behind on these mysterious artifacts, as it turns out. There's 5 of them, and basically Ezio is trying to find them so he can relive Altair's memories and work out what he's trying to tell you.
Right.
Because apparently that will help in some way.
Okay.
That's pretty much it. That is the story. It's like,
okay, gotta find these 5 things.
That's really dumb because it's like
the most interesting story so far in this is Altair's.
It's really dumb because could Desmond just relive Altair's memories when he's making these things rather than having to relive Ezio's memories and finding the things that the other guy made?
Exactly, it's really dumb.
Yeah, that is dumb. It's
really dumb. Because what about Altair's memory? We haven't finished Altair's memory technically. We played a small part of it in the first game.
And then there was one weird sequence in the second game where you were Altair.
Yeah, and
I don't know why
you kind of hook up with Maria.
Yeah.
Who turns up in this again briefly.
Right.
It's weird. Story makes no fucking sense. So basically how the game ends up then feeling is a bit like Brotherhood and a bit like 2, but you're just doing all the side stuff. The entire game feels like the side stuff.
Oh no. Okay.
Which isn't so great. The moments where it does put you into a unique scenario, like it has a couple of those, like what they're called the book missions, I suppose. It has a couple of these like climbing puzzles, I suppose, and set piece stuff. But it feels like there's fewer of them compared to what they were in the previous ones. And you're doing a lot more recruiting assassins and a lot more of the side game stuff, because now you can take over cities across the Mediterranean, and you have to get the Templar control down and then reclaim the city and then maintain control of those cities. And there's an achievement for doing it in every one of them. And I'm most of the way there. So but then you assign your assassins out, so then you can lose them from your team and give them to a city, I suppose, to help maintain the control. But then you have to go and recruit more.
Right.
So it's like there's a bit of a loop there. And that stuff is kind of engaging. You have to basically like go into that menu like once every 15 minutes to keep it active. And there is, having stronger assassins on your team makes the bro button more effective, which is still as cool as ever. The bro button was like the best thing from Brotherhood. It's still there and it's still awesome.
Cool.
Well, the other stuff that they've added, I also don't see the point, because the big sort of weird thing about Revelations was the tower defense game.
Oh yeah, that.
Of which I've done the tutorial. And I've avoided needing to do again.
Oh, nice.
Because you can completely avoid it.
Awesome.
You can... Well, it's both awesome and bad in a way. Because the awesome bit is you can avoid it. By just... The only reason the Templars would ever attack your dens is if you go into the aware state for too long.
Right.
Like the red state.
Yeah.
Which is a pain in the arse to be in anyway. So you try and avoid it at all costs. However, getting into that state is now made slightly harder because whenever you buy a shop, you gain 25% awareness.
Oh, okay.
So you can't renovate the town very fast because you're constantly having to unfuck your awareness. There's the posters don't exist anymore, so you can't do.
Those down.
You have to go find heralds or officials, and the officials are incredibly rare.
Right.
So you're constantly juggling that all the time. But if
the posters were always the go-to one.
Yeah, exactly, because they were just everywhere. And it's so the awareness is more of a pain in the arse, but as I say, I've never been in the red zone for long enough to get attacked, so I've never had to do a den defense, as they call them. Mm-hmm. Annoyingly, there are challenges and achievements
for that
associated with doing den defense, and it's like, well, I don't need to do that. Fuck you guys. It didn't seem too bad when I was playing out. It was a serviceable mini-game. Kind of, it wasn't a full-on tower defense game by any means.
But you don't want to have to get awareness just so you could get some achievements.
Yeah, I don't want to fuck up, so I can do something that only occurs when you fuck up. Mm-hmm. So I can get an achievement for fucking up, for unfucking a fuck up. Basically,
Right,
it's like it's a stupid system. So I'm avoiding that. Woo. There also seems to be a bigger emphasis in this game on doing the multiplayer. There's more achievements for doing the multiplayer stuff, which I haven't looked into yet. was kind of interesting in Brotherhood, but kind of in a weird sort of, it's just random sort of way. So yeah, I don't know much about that. But yeah, this whole game is just it's an unnecessary entry in the series.
Yeah.
And at this point, it's like, if I was to look at it from the story point, presumably at the end there will be some revelation that will be of interest. However, my recommendation, and I think everyone agrees with this, is just don't play this one.
Don't play this one.
To be honest. I mean, I'm in and I'm still playing it. And something is keeping me going that I don't understand.
Yeah.
I want to play more of it.
Yeah.
But I don't know why.
Yeah.
And I don't think I can really recommend it if that's how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and I even think, like, in many ways, it's a step backwards. Like, mechanically, they've added some new stuff that you can do. Like, they've given your blade on one arm of the hook, so you can climb super fast, which is awesome at first. Until you realise what that means in terms of the controls, which happens fairly quickly, is that in order to do it, you have to press A to force a hook jump, and then it will use the hook to climb faster, blah, 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 blah. But of course that means that you're then more susceptible to the controls fucking up and doing something completely that you don't want to do, like, hey, I'm climbing this tower. I've been pushing up, holding right trigger, and occasionally pushing A to climb faster for a while now. Controls suddenly decide, you want to jump 90 degrees to the right and fall to your death. No, fuck off, no!
Yeah.
It does that all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just, the platforming and moving around the city just feels more janky than it ever did.
Yeah, great.
And I don't know how they've managed that. Maybe it's the design of Constantinople, which is a bit more, I don't know, the rooftops are a little less even, I suppose, a little less organised.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another problem. Constantinople is a boring place to be.
Is it?
Not nearly as interesting as anywhere in Italy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the best setting. It's like Assassin's Creed 1, where they could get away with it because it was the first game in the series. There was nothing like, but all the cities were kind of the same. Yeah, like Acre, and I forget where the other places are. I just always remember Acre because it looks like Acre.
Right, Acre. Yeah,
and like everywhere else, they're all the fucking same. But
Jerusalem.
But it was fine then. Yeah, it might have been Jerusalem. Yeah, it was that sort of area anyway. Mm. But it was fine. Because the first game in the series, I'm willing to, you know no better, I suppose. Mm-hmm. Now it's just like when you go back to it and you've been treated to Venice. Yeah. And it's just like,
Venice is so cool.
No, even Rome, the variation of Rome was nice. You know, it had different areas. Admittedly, it was only one place, so it wasn't quite as cool as 2's. Yeah. Like more segregated areas, yeah. But at least Rome had varied segments, and you knew kind of where you were because the districts looked different. Mm. All the fucking same in Constantinople. The whole thing, fucking same. With a couple of landmarks that you recognise when you run past every now and then, and it's not as good. Just not as good. Same. So, yeah. If you have yet to play it, just probably wiki it, I guess.
Find out the revelation. And
skip to 3.
Skip to 3, yeah.
Or YouTube it, I suppose. You could probably watch everything you want to know on YouTube in about half an hour. If that.
Are you going to take some time out, or are you thinking of playing 3? That'd probably look quite good.
I will play 3 eventually. I'm now invested in Assassin's Creed, and, as I say, some part of me seems to be enjoying it. Yep. Just not the bit that talks to me. I don't know why I enjoy it.
Looking forward to pirate Assassin's Creed.
From what people say about 3, and that the naval battles being one of the best bits of 3, right? Then a game with more of that probably doesn't sound like a bad idea.
Maybe.
And, mixing it up a bit.
Yeah, I guess. That's true. I don't know. Black Flag. Just seems dumb. We'll see.
Black Flag, they've just done an illegal manoeuvre in some kind of race and have been black flagged. That's what makes me think of anyway. You're disqualified. But and that's the other thing. Ubisoft have basically come out and said, look, we're not stopping this annual thing anytime soon.
No, they have, yeah.
It's just going to carry on. I think that's I think that's a bad move. It's proved wrong.
It's done.
For Brotherhood and Revelations probably weren't needed.
They'll make more money in the short term and less money in the long term, I think.
Yeah.
They need to do the kind of...
Well, the problem is that they're in danger at this point. And in fairness, it's taken longer than I think anyone anticipated, but they're in real danger now of Assassin's Creed just being run into the ground.
It's like Guitar Hero; they're just assassinating it.
Yeah,
it's
the irony.
No one's going to want to play one for for 5 years. Whereas if they kept them less regular, people would be more excited.
Well, that's the thing. The only reason I started playing Revelations is because I still felt like it wasn't that long ago that I played Brotherhood, and it's like it probably has been over a year since I tackled Brotherhood. I hadn't actually looked it up. I should probably look back at the old cast to see when I was actually talking about it. But the only reason I've been prompted to play this is that the person, it's not my copy of the game, the person whose copy of the game it is, Matt Macon, friend of the show, reminded me, it's like, have you still got my copies of Assassin's Creed? And I'm like, oh, they're yours. I'd forgotten who the fuck they were.
Right, yeah.
It's been that long that I've had them.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, annual is too much.
It is too much.
Way too much.
How often is Halo? Is that 2 biannually or something?
Well, no, really. If you think about it, they've been churning out one a year for a while.
Is that 1 a year?
If you include the anniversary edition.
Oh, yeah. What was it? 3?
3, ODST, Reach, anniversary edition, 4.
4. Okay.
And I think Halo Wars fits in there somewhere as well.
Right. Yeah.
So they've been churning out a Halo game once a year.
I guess.
For like 5 years now. Although, anniversary edition, you could probably say isn't a real entry in that.
Mm.
Yeah, 1 a year, way too long. Way too many, sorry. Just slow down. So what else have we been doing? Played a bit more Dirt 3.
Yep.
Played quite a bit more Dirt 3, actually. It's fun. It's Dirt. Nothing's really changed there. Still prefer 2, but I went back and played a little bit of that this morning, and it's like, yep, 2's more fun. Proven. Reminded myself.
Why didn't you carry on playing 2 then?
Because I've played a lot more 2 than I have 3,
right? And
the problem is that those campaigns, the tours are too long,
right?
In both those games, the tours are too long, so it's like you get kind of bored of them after a while. The fact that I haven't played 2 in a while made it refreshing again to go back. The problem is I know those track designs way too well now. And it's like, you go back and play them and you haven't forgotten a thing. You know exactly how to take these turns.
Right, yeah.
And it's... So, a quick burst on 2 every now and then isn't so bad. But I still haven't quite got to that point in 3. The tracks are just less memorable in 3, I think. Maybe because they look a bit more realistic in a weird way. There's less props and stuff that look out of place.
Mm.
It looks like these places could actually exist. But that doesn't necessarily make it more interesting.
Yeah, fair enough. It's true.
So a bit more of that. And, naturally it was a good test for the, DX11 tech in Dirt 3 on my new graphics card, so tessellation and stuff. Which is weird, because I actually think it makes the water look worse.
Interesting.
It's like the water effects in Dirt 3 just don't seem to exist. The ones of the car going through the water, not the windscreen stuff.
Yeah.
But as the car goes through the water, in Dirt 2 it leaves these really nice ripples, which I think they backported some of that tessellation tech to Dirt 2. I can't be sure of that, but they look really nice. And it's like, none of that's in 3, or at least it's not noticeable.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably there, you just can't see it.
Mm-hmm.
And certain effects make it run like crap, even on my new card. Like, don't turn ambient occlusion all the way up.
Yeah.
Because you can't notice it, for starters, and it just makes it run like shit. Top tip.
Tip-top.
What else we played? Zach and I suppose should talk Guild Wars 2 and Super Adventure Box.
I guess.
Which was their current sort of event land thing, which...
The April one.
Yeah, which makes an ASA a video game, basically, out of the world. So you walk in there and everything's all chiptunes and pixel art. And
fake Zelda.
Yeah.
I guess.
It's kind of cool.
Only platforming.
Yeah, mostly about the jumping puzzles.
Naturally.
It's kind of cool. A neat little aside. Frog Boss was a bitch, but...
Not really.
Well, once we figured it out.
Yeah, once you work out what to do, it's actually really easy. I did it by myself.
Oh, did you?
So, a couple of times. Well, it was because, well, the weird thing about it is that this year so far, in January, February, and March, they've been doing small updates that were part of they're leading up to a big thing because they've now started calling it the living story, where they're adding more stuff to it over time, and new events are appearing throughout the world, and then you go and do them. And then so in the March one, they added basically the first actual reel of events that were in new special zones, and they actually had story related to them. And so you went and did them, and then suddenly in April it's like complete opposite shift in tone because we come from super serious, oh shit, refugees, our world is getting fucked up, dragons and crap, and then suddenly it's like, and now we're playing Zelda.
Yeah. It's like people are stealing our devourer hatchlings.
Yeah.
As if we're supposed to care about those fucking mini scorpion things.
Well, a child needs them.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, look. It's like killing kittens, I suppose, to them, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess.
It's like, we must stop
Apart from they are kittens, so, you know.
Well, I suppose the child.
Yeah, the child are giant cat dudes.
It's like, we must stop these kitten murderers. And it basically just turns into a fight. And then all of a sudden, of course, it's leading up to something, isn't it? The dredge and the flame.
Exactly. That flame, the whole, raising living story thing is clearly not done. It's just like suddenly in April we're going to take an entire month off of that.
Take a detour.
Just have this weird brightly coloured video game.
It's pretty cool though.
Yeah. So
B-Dogs,
yes. We ran through that eventually. It's quite long. Not as long.
No, you say we ran through that. We ran through the first part of it.
No, we actually did run through it.
Oh, what? Really?
Because I went back and did it myself. Well,
what are the other worlds?
I went through on easy mode because there's an achievement for that.
Or infantile mode,
yeah,
as they call it.
Which basically, it's not easier in terms of it's not easier in terms of combat or anything. Well, no, that's not actually really true. Or more of the enemies drop food instead of money, so if you do take damage, it's easier to get your health back.
Okay,
so that does make it easier. But the main thing is that it just skips over all the jumping puzzles where there's the little cloud dude in the world that create rainbow bridges, like on that one boss,
yeah,
at the end of the level, where they're just everywhere. So wherever there's a jumping puzzle, you just walk up to the cloud thing, and it just creates a bridge that goes straight over it.
Oh, handy.
So I used that also that was convenient for exploration because I still haven't found all the secrets or anything. So I was using that as a convenient way to explore the world a bit easier. Not that the secrets are going to be anywhere where those rainbow bridges go, because those rainbow bridges are the precise straight path between the checkpoints. So if you want to go and explore and look for hidden stuff, you still have to jump around dodgily or whatever.
So you say have you been through all of it? Because I thought we only went through World 1 of 4.
No, because that's the thing where you go through World 1 and then you go into World 2 where it's the rapids.
Yeah. And
I went through that level once I got to it on easy mode, and it just stops.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's incomplete at this point. Okay. Oh, so you can go through a bit of that level, and then it goes, oh, wait, we haven't finished it. How does it explain that?
Well, it's just you come to the end of basically the rapids, you climb up the big mountain. Then I started to suspect this was the way it was going, because after you climb up this big mountain, there's just a really long straight bridge. And I was like, well, this looks suspicious. It's like it's going to collapse or something and I'm going to fall out of the world. But then there's just you run along that bridge and fight ninjas. And then when you get to the other side, there's a raft section where you go down a river. But that's basically it. It's basically an arena fight, only in a tiny arena, where you just stand on the raft as it's careering down the river and fight ninjas that jump out of the water at you.
And then
at the end of that, you just fall off a waterfall into a open area, and then it's just the world just stops, and then the digital representation of the Asura dude is there, and he's like, "Your funding will help me continue."
No,
my work or whatever.
Oh, that's
so
a shame.
It just stops, and then I got the achievement. So that was good.
So do you reckon they will carry this on?
Well, I don't know.
Or will it be something that they do infrequently? Kind of so we won't see it next month, but we might see it a few months from now.
I mean, they could do, but it's it just seems like a lot of effort for something that's only going to exist in April. Because it literally, supposedly, they're going to shut it down at the end of April.
Yeah, good point.
Which also means those achievements are time limited, which means, fuck, I have to get them. God damn it.
Yeah. I don't get the sort of like draw of Guild Wars achievements.
Because they're achievements and they're time limited. It was like the Christmas and the Halloween ones. You know you're not going to do them.
Achievements still only matter to me if they have gamer score associated with them. So they have to be on my Xbox.
And also, well, I mean, like, obviously the dailies are different. Like the daily and monthly achievements, because they give you actual rewards as well as just...
No, there's something about, I don't know, most of the achievements in Guild Wars that are basically just grind, as opposed to, like, there's a certain element of achievements on Xbox being, or Steam in for that matter, just being, you know, oh, okay, these are skill sort of things, you can do these if you want.
There's not too much, there's only like, probably not even half of the ones in Guild Wars that actually grind. And well, there's all the kill 1,000 of each specific type of enemy, but that's not... I've got, like... Well, probably not that many. I've probably got, like, 30% of those just from playing the game, without having... Well, then again, I do play it quite a lot, so I guess that's sort of different. But, I mean, those are the achievements you don't care about. The actual achievements are all, like... Obviously, every jumping puzzle has its achievement, and then there's, like, world completion, so it has the achievements for each area of the map, like the jungle or whatever. It's like the achievements that matter.
But you know what I mean? There's a lot of them seem to reward time, because you could probably go find those things if you spent enough time.
Well,
maybe.
I guess, but then what else? It's like, well, don't all achievements give you reward for time? Like collecting all the things in Assassin's Creed?
Yeah, you may be right. Maybe that is similar. Is that, you know, that's not necessarily how they go, is it? Like, there's, you know, a lot of the Assassin's Creed ones will do something
or progress a certain amount through the story. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but you know, or, you know, I mean, do something. A lot of the Assassin's Creed ones try and mix it up because they are do something dumb.
Well, there are some,
like, you know, managed to get a guard to hurt 3 of his mates by swinging wildly when he was poisoned, or
there are a few of those.
Get 10 people poisoned at the same time, so it looks like a mosh pit.
Yeah. There are a few of those in Guild Wars. Like, there's one achievement for each of the big bosses where it's like something that you wouldn't naturally do necessarily.
Oh, well, the team, the big events. Yeah, that makes more sense. I don't know. I just don't.
You don't care.
They're not drawing to me. No, that's not why I play that game.
But yeah, I probably, if I'm going to get the puzzle box achievements, I'm probably not going to do them as legitimately as I did the other ones. Because it's like the Christmas ones and the Halloween ones, I did them properly. But I think in the puzzle box, because the trouble is, there's the achievements for finding the hidden rooms, and as we discovered when I went back and looked at that place where there was a hidden room, there's no fucking indication that there was a hidden room there that you had to bomb.
Yeah.
So basically, fuck that, I'm going to look it up.
Yeah.
Which might actually still be a problem, because you can't see the map, so presumably it will have to be word descriptions.
The areas might not be too bad to describe that stuff, except for perhaps the tree bit.
Yeah. Where it's like, go up these leaves,
yeah,
and then jump at this bit of wall or something.
Unless someone will just use screenshots.
Yeah, I guess. So yeah, I'll probably need to look those up. I did actually get all the baubles in one of the levels, eventually, which took quite a long time. And I got all the abilities, all the items.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, we did that. We did quite a bit of that. Took a long time, but that was because we were trying to explore and find stuff.
Yeah, and didn't really.
Yeah, and we still didn't get any. We still didn't get all the baubles or whatever.
I still can't jump.
No, you still suck at jumping.
I don't get it. To be honest, I don't get.
Well, I think this one is probably the hardest it's been, because it's like a lot of the jumps that they want you to do are like super on the edge of the like very limit of the range you can possibly do.
Yeah,
and there was one bit on one explorer route that we didn't go down that I did, but it was in that last bit of the level that we just skipped over because it was getting late.
Yeah.
But there was one jump there that I just couldn't make unless I pulled off that dodge jump that gives you slightly more range, and it took me fucking forever.
I don't like that. You shouldn't have to use what is essentially a
weird
glitch.
Yeah. But
it's like running diagonally in GoldenEye. That should never have been that way.
But even without that specific thing, so even just some of those other jumps are pretty, like, you're jumping by the time you've almost already stepped off the platform, and it's almost an air jump, but just the fact that it hasn't caught up yet is letting you. Yeah. Those are quite severe jumps. At least at least I guess in the puzzle box world, the edges are like quite well defined because it's all like pixely.
And it's still kind of weirdly, it shows up actually in a way, like how the platforming engine kind of works, in that it gives you a sort of random amount of, I say random, it feels random, but it gives you quite a lot of leeway in front of the actual edge in which you can sort of snap up it.
Yeah.
So if you land too low but are close enough, it would treat it like a slope and you'll just walk up it.
Yeah, it's like your jumping animation doesn't actually go as high as you can jump.
Yeah. It's odd.
So yeah. That's Guild Wars.
Yeah, so we did it. It's funny anyway. The chip music wasn't too bad.
Yeah. A bit repetitive after all that time.
Yeah. It's not the longest of loops.
Mm. And then me and Rob also played some Planetside, I guess.
Did we?
At some point.
Did we?
A bit.
Did we?
Yeah. And then I did as well.
I haven't played it since I got my new card. I still haven't seen what that looks like as it's supposed to run.
Yeah, that would be interesting. But I played some.
Because last time I tried to log in, Planetside was down.
Oh yeah, that was you updated it. I remember that one.
Yeah, I did that.
Because there was a big update where they had the VR training thing where you can try out all the weapons for free.
Cool. It's a good idea.
Yeah, which is nice. But I played some more of that, I guess. And I don't know if it's something they actually changed or whether I just got better at it or found a niche or something. But I seem to be getting a lot more cert points now, and it's like, I can actually start unlocking stuff. Cool. Yeah.
Did I talk Most Wanted actually? Because you've been playing that.
I'm getting to that.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
But yeah,
I thought you were struggling.
No. But it's just like I don't know. It might have just been when I unlocked the sniper rifle that I got in Planetside because it's a bolt action, which I like better, and it's like one shot kill if you get a headshot, which obviously helps if you can just stand there. But I still think I probably play it badly, because I snipe out of the spawn. So I'm like, these convenient invincible bullet shields will protect me, so I can just stand here and just take as long as I want to scope up, because no one can fucking shoot me.
Well, it's just like, if you can, you will. Let's put it that way.
I mean, obviously there's some bases where it works better than others. There was one base I was in where it had basically cliffs up both sides of the map. So obviously other snipers and people would stand up there, totally in plain view, and I was like, look, I can easily see these cliff edges out of the spawn room. I'm just going to stand here while the enemy are attacking and keep finishing them off. And stood there for half an hour just killing them and not ever die.
Being invulnerable.
Yep.
Awesome.
Good times. But
in fairness, you play a lot of games weirdly like that.
Yeah,
your Battlefield extreme long-range sniping technique, which probably doesn't help the battle much.
It does!
But it gives you a shit ton of points if you can pull it off.
Well, yeah, that too. It helps in some ways. I'm good at spotting, that's the important thing.
Yeah, your UAV use is pretty good. I still don't fucking know how to use the UAV and not get it murdered all the goddamn time.
Right to the top of the map.
I still seem to get shot up there.
But, yeah. That was fascinating. I've got quite a lot of cert points. I might actually be able to unlock one of the medium level weapons that are 500 cert points.
Whoa.
But I probably won't want to because I think I just want to skip to the 1,000 point stuff that's actually the vehicle weapons and stuff that is actually a lot more powerful and different. I was kind of considering, maybe I should just get the anti-air tank gun, because that's funny and weird to have a tank that's only purpose is to shoot aircraft.
It looks
but then that's 1,000 points, so that's a bit of a waste.
How much does that cost in real money?
I don't know.
1,000 points is, I think...
Well, it's not the same number of station cash as cert points.
I think 1,000 might be a tenner.
Oh, right, that's a lot.
Something like that. It's a fairly close ratio or something like that when 1,000 cert points to
if it's not cert points, it's station cash.
Sorry, yes, that way around. Sorry, certain number of the station cash to money ratio is fairly similar. A bit like Microsoft points, I suppose. It's kind of close.
But yeah, that's fine. I'm getting enough cert points now, I think. But I'm still reluctant to spend them on. Whereas there's the other trouble of why I don't play Planetside right is obviously I still play it as a lone person.
Yeah.
And not get, even when I'm trying to get into a squad or whatever, I never manage to stick with people. That's just because I'm always automatically defensive. So even if I get in a big load of people who are charging and rushing a base and taking it and then like get the points for capturing or whatever, everyone then immediately drives off. And I'm too slow to like run the fuck back to the vehicle and get in because I'm always like looking around or something.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about things. But then secondly, I'm always like trying to pick off those last remaining enemies who are lurking around, and you know that as soon as everyone leaves, they're just going to sneak in and cam it back.
Sorry, I got that wrong. 1,000 station cash is equivalent to $10.
Oh, right. So that's a bit better.
So €9.
Not that great.
No. Yeah.
Especially these days.
Or £8.
Yeah.
So it's again, it looks like it's pretty much the same exchange rate as Microsoft points to pounds.
Yeah, pretty much. So that's Planetside, I guess.
I just remembered one thing that really pissed me off about Assassin's Creed as well.
Right.
Most bombs are dumb.
Yeah.
It's got that bomb system.
Yeah.
Basically just use smoke bombs all the time.
Mm-hmm.
They're friggin' awesome. Everything else is shit.
And the bro button.
The bro button. Yeah, the bro button is amazing. Especially caltrop bombs. They're supposed to be like They work when you're running away from someone. You can drop them a load of like spikes on the floor and they'll get painful. But there's like achievements for incapacitating someone with a caltrop bomb so they like can't move anywhere, and then throwing them into scaffolds, of which there aren't many about, and I haven't been able to work out how to get it to work. Sometimes the scaffold just doesn't fall down or something. It's like, it seems to keep reminding me as well, oh, by the way, you can use scaffolds. It's like, no one has ever used that. Since Assassin's Creed 1, I've never fucking used a scaffold to kill someone. Actually, that's a lie. It was a bit more easy to do in the first one, but yeah. And also, at the start of missions, I've often had like do not be detected missions, and I've spawned in front of a guard looking right at me, so it's insta fail, and then it's put you somewhere else to start the mission from. Sometimes further away than you were the last. Like, it seems some missions start with different spawn points, and it picks one at random.
Lame.
It's weird. Yeah. Anyway, rant over.
Yeah.
I just want to get that out.
Some more.
Just, there'll be plenty.
God, definitely not got enough time. Now, we talk about everything else. So let's quickly get to a couple of other things that are less relevant and older out of the way. I started playing Terraria again because I'm easily influenced, and then Terraria came out on Xbox, and I was like, oh, Terraria, yeah, I played that. Let's play some more.
Yeah.
Started a new world and did everything again. Well, not everything. I never did actually everything in that game. I never did like the hard mode of bosses, which you get after you get through all of the normal bosses, basically. So yeah, I played quite a lot of that, and I also played quite a lot more of Bit Trip Runner 2. I actually properly finished it. Got Perfect Plus on every level in every difficulty.
Holy crap. Nicely.
So I got all the achievements. And I did a video stream of that, of me doing the last Perfect Pluses, which you can't really tell because obviously with the new update to the recording software, it doesn't record the Steam overlay. So you can't see when the achievement pops up.
Okay.
But I was doing it, it's fairly obvious because you can see the level markers, but by the point I decided to do a stream, I'd already done all of them in normal and hard, so I was just doing easy. It's kind of boring. But that was the way I kept doing that when I was playing Bit Trip. I played them in like reverse, it was sort of reverse order of difficulty because it like wears you down, where once you come back to it fresh, you're like, I can manage all this hardcore shit. So I do like the last world and do them in the hardest difficulty and then start working backwards. And then after a while I'd be like, well, I think I'm starting to run out of effort now. I'm going to have to downgrade to like easier modes. But I got all the hard ones out of the way. There's one level which was probably would have been the worst of Perfect Plus if I hadn't have Perfect Plussed it, because it's basically the marathon level where it's basically 4 times as long as a regular level because it has 4 checkpoints and it's the only level that has multiple checkpoints. So if you got that up, if you got all the way through that, got all the gold, and then missed the Perfect Plus right at the end and had to do the whole thing again, that would probably suck. But luckily I got it first try on all 3 difficulties.
Awesome.
So that was convenient.
Lucky.
And then
Most Wanted, come on.
Yeah, the only other thing, which I guess I didn't really play that much of. I played it like once, and then we made a video of it.
Yeah, you should probably go watch the video if you want our real opinions on it. But
is that up?
It's on YouTube. I haven't linked it on Happy Salad yet.
Cool.
Yeah, so Most Wanted was my free game from SimCity's fiasco, and it's weird and not that entertaining, I don't think.
Well, yeah, as we described it, it's basically a prettier Burnout Paradise, as we expected it to be, with some fucking weird art stuff.
Yeah. I tell you what, I was watching a video review somewhere else, and I saw some more of those, or some clips of some more of those art-style intros that they have at the start of races, and we definitely haven't even seen the weirdest ones. There's ones that are even weirder.
Oh man, better do that after this.
Well, I'm not sure which races those are, but
anyway, just go watch that stuff. Anyway, it's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's just
weird.
It's just like when you start a race. Well, firstly, there's a loading screen, which is dumb for a start. It's not really integrated into the world in the way you'd like. Especially when it's like, drive up to the marker, spin your wheels to start a race, and then load screen.
Presumably because it's loading the art piece.
Well, yeah. But then you do that, and then there's this weird artistic, intro, which sometimes has to do with the name of the race as, a theme, where it's here's some industrial zone, and with weird shifting camera angles, and it's all red for some reason.
Make it look like the start of some kind of business sitcom or something.
But then those get even weirder, where it's now we're looking up at the sky and there's just cars driving past in midair, and it just looks like the game's glitched and has fucked up and put all the cars 500 feet off the ground, but that's actually intentional, because then it focuses on your car and you casually fall out of the air and go poof onto the ground, and then
the race begins.
What? It's what?
The weirder one was where the camera was just basically doing backflips and clipping through the floor, looking up at the terrain and stuff on it, and then you see the underside of your car eventually, and the camera just flips through the road, and then you're behind it and the race begins.
Yeah, it's deliberate clipping.
It's weird ideas.
Awesome.
But that's the thing, none of it makes any sense and has any context with the rest of the game.
Well, the trouble is that, the whole of the game doesn't really have any context, I was trying to describe on the video.
Well, yeah, I think the best phrase we came up with for that game was right at the end of the video, where we described it as, when you see a film or a television program and they have some generic game that's being used, they may have made up or maybe some Xbox game. This is that game. This is the generic driving game.
Yeah.
There's no soul. There's no...
That's a shame.
And there's no,
It's not that it's badly made. It's not that there's any real lack of...
What do they need to do? Make another Burnout, I guess?
Basically, yeah. It's just...
Burnout 3 again.
Also, the crashes suck in most ones as well.
Yeah, the crashes are weird. Or
considering it's a Burnout game, almost.
Yeah. Well, that Need for Hot Pursuit sort of had that problem as well.
Yeah.
It's not a Burnout game. There's no black and white. There's no crashing every 4 seconds.
No. But yeah, it's just
and the handling doesn't seems too heavy for the type of game it is.
Yeah, that's the thing that I have the main problem with. It's just everything feels super heavy. Even the lightest cars still feel too heavy, and you can't kick them into slides or whatever very easily. Yeah, and of course maybe the bigger problem, which is the thing that Rob found quite a lot in Paradise, is just it's not very fun to explore a game when you're
in a car.
Yeah, you're not. You don't want to do platforming in a car. You don't want to, but then it's just you don't want to drive up a parking garage to find a hidden car spot where there's a new car for you.
No.
It's just slow, boring navigation of a world.
Yeah, trying to spot where a billboard is or the route to get to some jump on which a billboard might sit.
Yeah, that's very true.
It's just not very interesting.
At least in Grand Theft Auto you can get out.
Yeah.
And then, of course,
not that I'm suggesting they do that.
No,
please God, no.
That was the run, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Basically.
Don't do Tony Hawk's Thug 2 or whatever it was. I don't know. But
then there was the one last thing, the thing that pissed Rob off.
Oh God! I'd forgotten about it. Oh, why did you remind me? Oh man,
it's the classic. It's the same problem that we've discussed about. What was the other game? Dirt 3.
Dirt 3 does it, but to a much lesser extent.
Even worse in Need for Speed is DLC in the world.
Oh, what?
Because the idea is you drive around the city and you find cars just parked, and then that's how you get a new car. And you can teleport to those different places as you find them to get around the world quicker or jump into the different cars. Mm-hmm. But they added DLC, but they're just more cars parked in the world. So you drive up to them, it's no, can't have that.
Oh,
Go to the store.
The thing is the content is on your machine. You have the content,
there,
but the ability to access it is just locked. And you go to the worst bit is most of the DLC cars, as it seems, are in the awkward hiding places. So you see one, and you're like, ooh, I'll figure out how to get there.
Or worse, when you hear one, because they have their radios on, which is another way you can tell where there's a car hidden.
But you then take the effort to go and find them, and only to drive right up to them, and it says at the bottom of the screen, press Y to go to the store. And you're like, fuck you. Seriously? And 100%, almost violently, fuck you.
So that's EA for you.
Yeah. It's terrible. It's utterly terrible.
Oh, and the first bit of DLC came out from SimCity for free, luckily.
Free.
It was an advert for Nissan Leaf cars.
It's the Nissan Leaf charging station.
What? Fuck you, EA.
But technically everyone was pissed off because it's like, why aren't you fixing the game? That has actually existed. People found that in the code of the game, on launch day, basically. It wasn't like they worked on that post-launch.
Good. Jeez.
But still.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, go watch that video anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
You'll see what we mean.
Come to the end of this Saladcast.
I'll be playing Infinity Blade.
Right.
It's okay.
Oh.
Okay.
We'll talk more about that later.
I won't be playing the 3DS before the next podcast because it's still more than 2 weeks away.
Okay, we might have a bit more crappy most wanted news, or etc. Or maybe
SimCity will get patched.
What is the revelation?
I'll have more Bioshock, and we'll catch you for that stuff next time, I guess.
Indeed.
But for now, stay tuned for more crazy videos, I expect.
Yeah,
at least
more Final Fantasy 7.
More Final Fantasy 7.
With our better recording solution.
Indeed, which seemed to work quite nicely. And yes, indeed. Catch you next time, listeners.
Join us in all the normal places. I haven't got time to rattle them off, but go find them. Bye.
Bye.
Fuck up.